Tov. Good morning, I should say, to everyone. Thank you for coming. Oh, very nice. No, you merged into the community already? Baruch Hashem. I brought you, as you can see over there and here, 3 CDs. And they are great CDs for the car because it has about 30 hours of lecture each one. So whenever you drive, instead of listening to the news that repeats itself 500 times a day and is anyway depressing, you listen to something that will elevate the soul. Plus, it's a very big mitzvah to listen to Torah. So you benefit. Okay, now.
Going to college sitting in the car.
Yeah, so now, shh. Okay. Now, first of all, I allow you to ask as many questions as you want. It's better to answer your questions than to just give you a speech. And even if the questions is off the topic, I was asked to speak about 2 different topics, and we try to mix them. One is Shalom Bayit, family issues, and one is Shabbat, which in reality they connect one to each other. Why? Because statistics shows that houses that the family keep Shabbat, and they sit every Shabbat in a Shabbat table, the husband, the wife, the children, some family members, that house has much more blessing in their peace over there between the husband, the wife, between the parents and the children, more respect, more harmony, more dignity. And it's actually not only affecting the peace in the family, it's also affecting the children a lot, because children who grew up in a house that they know that at least once a week for few meals everyone sits around the table together for an hour or 2 and they eat together and they talk, it builds very good communication. Some houses, the kids never sat with their parents to eat once in 10 years. They eat here, they eat there, they eat outside, even when they make themselves something in the kitchen, well, eat later, they don't never sit with it. So there's really no communication between the parents and the children. So that's connected, but we'll start with Shabbat and then I go into some family issues. Today, unfortunately, the Jewish nation, at least from what we know, at least 70% of the Jews in the world do not keep Shabbat. This is one problem, but the biggest problem, which is even bigger than the problem itself, is that people do not even know what Shabbat is. That's the bigger tragedy. Why? Because if the Jews would know what Shabbat is, there's no question in my mind that not even 5% of the Jews in the world would not dare to be Mechalel Shabbat. Not even 5%. Why? Because a person, when he understands what he does, he thinks a million times before. Let me give you an example. One time I spoke in a lecture and I said, the Jewish people have a big job in this creation. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us the Torah, and we only 13 million Jews in the world, 13.2 million Jews and 7.4 billion Jews, and the whole world is around us. Everybody see. We are 0.25%, and the 99.8% of the Goyim, they all revolve around us. We gave Torah to humanity. All the 80,000 religions that came after us, even though they're all fake, but many of them copy from us. And they try to do many things, like we taught the world. For instance, the Goyim don't have to get married. Why? They all get married. And they get married, they get divorced, they go to the church, they have why is it? Because they learn from the Jews. They see what the Jews are doing. The Jews told the world that you need 1 day of rest. They also took a day of rest. The Jews told the world that the week has to be 7 days. How did they know to celebrate a week all over the world? Or that a month is 30 days. Or that a year is 365 days. This all comes from the Torah. So we taught them how to behave, what to do, what not to do. And after that, they imitate us. We are the light for the Goyim. And one time I spoke in a lecture and I say, you know, one of the differences between the Jews and the non-Jews are, the non-Jews also have mitzvot to keep. They have 7 main mitzvot. All together is about 36 mitzvot that they have to keep. And they have heaven. or they go chas v'shalom to a different place, depending if they kept the mitzvot or not, the goyim. How the goyim know what mitzvot they have to keep? It's in the Torah. The Torah mainly is for the Jews, but it's also for the goyim. The goyim learns from the Torah what they allowed, what they not allowed. The Torah wasn't only for the Jews. From the Torah, all the goyim in the world learned their purpose in life. They learned they have a life after death. They learned that you can be a goy and you can be righteous. They learn a lot of things. Without the Torah, they'll never know it. But here comes the problem. One time I said in my lecture, we the Jews, Hashem is strict with us in a much higher level than with the rest of the world. But the way it is that even what we think count, not only what we do. Even when we think bad, it's already a sin. Just a person that thinks, even if he did not do something bad, the fact that he's thinking about bad things, it's already a problem. And it's affecting the spiritual world. So one person say, something that I do over here, you think Hashem care? I turn the light on Shabbat. God, the creator of this amazing world, do you think he care if I turn the light on Shabbat, or if I light a cigarette, or if I drive in my car? This great God care about such nonsense? So I told him a story. I told him, two Russian soldiers somewhere in Russia, they sit and they put them in a place with machine guns, and they told them, you have to make sure nobody enter this room. If somebody try to come near this room, you begin to shoot. You don't ask questions. You kill. Why? Don't ask questions. Why? You see the switch on the wall? No one is allowed to turn this switch on. This is your job. One day these two Russians, they started to drink vodka, one and another one and another one, and they got drunk. So one said to his friend, what would you give me if I turn this switch on? His friend told him, you're crazy. Our job is to make sure nobody will touch this. We have to kill. It's dangerous. They told us, make sure, this is your job. He said, I'm telling you, it's nonsense. You give me 1,000 ruble, I turn the switch on. He said, okay, deal. Let's see if you have the guts. So he turned the switch on, and you see, it's all nonsense. Nothing really happened. He gave him 1,000 ruble. 5 minutes later, they begin to hear sirens, cars, people screaming, people crying. They ask, what happened here? They see the switch is on. What did you do? So what did we do? Nothing. It's all nonsense. What did we do? Look, we're still playing here. They told them 5 million people died. Where? In the other side of the ocean. Why? It was an atomic bomb. They turned the switch on. 5 million people died in the other side of the world. But where they sit, they didn't see any difference. This is exactly what Mechalel Shabbat does. He comes into his car, or he smokes a cigarette, or he turns his phone on, and he drives, and all the family come, and they all comes with a car, and everyone is happy, and they eat their gondi, but they don't see the damage they do over there. Not only to themselves, to the entire nation of Israel, and they break the relationship between us and Hashem. Now, I tell you from someone that has 20 years experience of giving lectures every day in different parts of the world, I can tell you that almost every Jew that I spoke to him seriously about Shabbat, right away became a Shomer Shabbat. How can it be? How can it be? The answer is, what I just said, it's a proof that most of the Jews, almost all of them, do not keep Shabbat, not because they're evil, not because they're bad, not because they want to make God angry, not because, nothing, none of these things. Only one reason, that they have no idea what Shabbat is. They have no idea what Shabbat is. Now let me give you some examples what I mean. When we received the Torah, Hashem gave us also the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments goes from the most important to the less important. The most important one, what is it? I am your God. If you don't know God, what's the point of even talking about religion? What's the second one? You should never dare to have another God. What's the third one? Don't ever swear on the name of God in a false testimony, on a lie, or disrespect His name. So in other words, if you really think about it, the all first three is really one. You should have one God, not another one. You should know who your God is. Don't dare to have another one. And to respect that God, it's really all one. But it was broken to three. What's the fourth one? Observe the Sabbath, Shabbat, because this is an eternal covenant between me, the creator of the world, to my children, the nation of Israel. Eternal covenant. You know what eternal covenant? If Obama would send you now an invitation to come to the White House, they want to take pictures of Obama giving you respect, shaking your hand, whatever, and everyone comes and take pictures, and they want to put your picture in the White House as a great citizen of the United States who deserve all the appreciation. How excited the person is going to be. Wow, they're giving me this kavod. Yeah. I spoke in Stony Brook College. There was one scientist woman who won an award. She's religious. She became Baalat Tshuva. So she said to me, I walked 3 hours on Shabbat to meet the president. I don't remember if it was Obama or the other one, or Bush. But she wanted to win the award. And they made it on Shabbat. So she walked hours. I think it was freezing weather. She risked her life just to be there when they take the pictures and they give the awards to all the scientists. Why? Because it's something to remember for the rest of their life. Now here, it's not Obama, with all the respect. It's the creator of the world, which is nothing to even compare between him to us. He comes to every one of you here in the room. And he say, you want to be connected to me? You want to be my faithful daughter? You want to win the life of eternity that I promise in my Torah? Condition number 1, you must keep Shabbat. 2 things. Shabbat and modesty, it's already 90% of the life of the Jewish woman. You should know that. From all the mitzvot you heard in your life, if you keep 2 of them good, you already have 90% in your pocket. Shabbat is very easy to keep. Timer, lights go on and off, you can cook, eat the food. Especially in Great Neck, a lot of the house, they have maids, they come in and out, they do almost all the job. It's very easy to keep Shabbat. There's some restriction, you cannot drive, no. But it's really not the end of the world. It's not so complicated in this generation to keep Shabbat. However, if a person doesn't keep Shabbat, when he die one day, lo alenu, he does not have a share to the world to come. The Torah is very, very precise and clear about it. There's no question. There's no question. There's no question about it. There's no argument. Some issues in life, there's arguments what the Torah meant. But over here, the Torah repeated it 12 times, more than anything. Someone who does not keep my covenant does not belong to my nation. How many of you here in this room know that according to the Torah, someone who does not keep Shabbat is not considered to be a Jew in the eye of God? How many of you know that by driving the car on Shabbat or smoking or speaking on a phone, you actually take your title as a Jew and turn it to a Goy? How many know? How many Israelis in Israel knows it? How many Persian Jews knows it? How many American Jews knows it? Almost nobody. If you come to an American Jew and say, you know, by not keeping Shabbat, you cannot call yourself a Jew, he'll get angry at you. He want to kill you. What kind of rabbi you are? You're fanatic. You're crazy. You're dangerous. You're lunatic. Don't invite him. Why are you so upset? He is reading to you verses from the Torah. You either believe in the Torah or you don't believe in the Torah. Here, the rabbi wrote the Torah. What do you want from him? He's only the mailman. The mailman gives you a letter. Sometimes the letter is good, sometimes it's bad. What do you want from the mailman? Imagine the mailman comes and gives a person a lawsuit. He has to be in court, so you take a hammer and kill him. Why did you kill the mailman? Why is giving me such bad news? That's his job. He delivers letters. Someone who would hide it from the Jews, he's a criminal. A doctor that doesn't tell his patients that he has a disease, that doctor is a criminal. The doctor that tells his patient, you must have a surgery tomorrow morning, cannot wait for next week, and it's going to be very painful, and you lay in bed for 6 months, maybe it will save your life. That's a righteous doctor. A doctor that said, take some Advil, the pain will go away, relax, and then next week he's dead, and they find out. What's going to happen to this doctor? In some places you get the electric chair. But you kill the patient. What? You're a doctor, you're a murderer, you're not a doctor. A rabbi that doesn't tell his listeners what's going to be their end for the way they live is a criminal. There's no other word for him. Remember what I say is, if you're honest, you know I'm right. A rabbi that sits in front of his audience and they see that they don't get dressed, and they walk not tzanua on the street, and they eat not kosher food, and they steal, and they do all kinds of other things, and he's happy. Why? They give donations. Yeah, everyone is happy. What do you mean? What about their soul? So let me read you some of the things the Torah says. The Torah says that the punishment of Mechalel Shabbat is bigger than the punishment of who? In your eyes, who is the biggest criminal that you can think of in life? If they tell you this person did that crime, you don't want to look at him. Which crime? Murder, right? If your son will bring to the house a little boy, 15 years old, and they tell you, you know, this boy's father is that famous murderer from television, what is the first thing you're going to tell your son? Are you crazy? Why are you bringing this kid here? So your son will tell you, what do you want from him, poor kid? Not only his father is a murderer and he gets the embarrassment, he has to pay for his father's crimes. The kid is right. Why the boy has to suffer that he has such a father? But you still don't want this boy in your house. Why? Just the thought that this boy come from the house of this mafia murderer, you don't feel comfortable that this boy is in your house. Right or wrong? Who would be comfortable that this boy will be in his house? Right or wrong? Am I right so far? Okay. But if the kid, his father is Mechalel Shabbat, bring him every day. No problem. Why? Something went wrong here. People never learn Torah properly. That's why they do not understand what Shabbat is. If you go to court, you go to downtown Manhattan, there's a federal court over there, you come inside. And there are 2 rooms over there. You come to the first room, you hear the judge say, I'm sentencing you for 3 months service work in a hospital. You have to go every day for 1 hour, help the patients over there, that's your punishment. You don't know what the criminal did, but you heard the punishment that he got. And then you go to the next room, and you hear the judge say, I'm sentencing you to 30 years in prison with no parole. And you don't know which crime they did. And now you come out of the courtroom, and they come to interview. Excuse me, sir, what do you think? Which room the criminal committed a bigger crime? The first room, 3 months service work, or the second room that he got 30 years in prison with no mercy? Which room? Huh? Anybody here would think that the first criminal committed an easier crime? Nobody, right? No one is a fool. People have brain. Everybody understands that the second room, the criminal, is much, much bigger criminal. If I had to hold the Torah and swear on my life in the name of Hashem that the second criminal is bigger, I would not hesitate. But I never know. I never heard what crime they did. How do I know that this one is a bigger criminal? Based on the punishment, right? What is the punishment of Mechalel Shabbat? Bigger than the punishment of a murderer. That's what the Torah says. The punishment of a murderer, it's horrible. But the punishment of Mechalel Shabbat is double horrible. So what does it tell you? That Hashem gets very upset when people are Mechalel Shabbat. But it gets worse. Let me give you another example. Someone that is a murderer never stopped to be a Jew. He's a filthy Jew. He's a horrible Jew. He's someone nobody wants to be near, but still a Jew. Someone like Madoff, that stole 50 billion people and made thousands of Jews lose their entire life saving. Universities, yeshivot, rabbis, orphans, children, organization. Everyone went to the garbage because of what he did. He's still a Jew. A big criminal, but still a Jew. There could be ladies that sitting in this room, the nicest ladies in the world. Polite, manners, generous, good heart, coming to retail him. They don't keep Shabbat. According to the Torah, they cut themselves out of Judaism. This Madoff is a Jew, this mafia murderer Jew is still a Jew, and this nice lady that would give her life for Hashem, supposedly, keeps the mezuzah 50 times a day, she doesn't keep Shabbat according to the Jewish law. I did not write it. If you don't believe me, I open it now and read it to you. According to the Shulchan Aruch, the Jewish book of law, Mechalel Shabbat arehu kegoy lechol davar. It's 100% a goy in my eyes, Hashem said. If he touched the wine, you must spill it to the bathroom. You cannot do Kiddush. If he did Kiddush, you have to do Kiddush again. It doesn't count. And all the laws of the goyim apply to him. Unbelievable. Do you understand what's going on here?
They don't even believe in the Torah. So how can you, those that they don't keep Shabbat, if you tell them it says in the Torah, they say,
No,
who
that's
wrote the
not
Torah?
true.
It's
They're
bunch
not
of
Torah.
intelligent people that got together.
No, I disagree with you for only one reason. I tell you, no, you have a good point in general, but for this specific group, I disagree with you because someone who comes to read Tehillim believes in the Torah. Otherwise, he won't waste his time.
And I'm not saying that people that are sitting here.
No. I'm saying, I'm speaking to the audience I see. This lecture is for you. Yeah, I record it and I put it later on. Other people benefit from it. Right now, when I see my audience, I know who I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with traditional women who believes in God and they know that Torah is from God. But they don't keep one or two laws that are critical. That's my job right now, that when they go home, they have something to think about. They won't continue to live in a lie for the rest of their life, and by the time they find out the tragedy, it will be too late, because it will be already no time to correct. And who are they going to blame? Me. And they're right. If I was here and I didn't tell him that, first person they would hate for eternity would be me. You were standing there for an hour and you didn't tell us about Shabbat anything? So I want everybody here to understand, Shabbat is not tradition. Shabbat is not a joke. Shabbat is everything. In the eyes of Hashem, it's everything. I once told the person that refused to be Shomer Shabbat. I told him, why? He said, I'm a barber. I said, what's the problem? I work in a barber shop. Shabbat is the busiest day. I make tips. I make a few dollars on every head. I do 3-4 heads. Each one give me $5. It's $20 multiplied by 8 hours a day, plus whatever I make. I make about $200-300 on Shabbat. The person that all week he make 100, Shabbat 300 or 250. So he doesn't want to give up $1,000 a month. So I told him, what a fool. I have a much better job for you. He said, what? I said, I'm going to pay you $20,000 for 1 hour of work, unlimited. Every day I'll give you jobs, contracts. He said, what's the job? I said, I'm going to give you a gun with a silencer. No one would hear. And I'll give you a list of people and I'll tell you where you can find them. And you go come behind them to the back, you shoot their head, you run away into your car, you drive, 20,000 cash. As many as you want. I have 1,000 people on the list. Ahmad, Mustafa, Muhammad, Hans. I have a list. Gaddafi, whatever. I have a list. You come, you shoot them, and you get 20,000 a head. What do you need to cut hair all day, break your back for $100? I say, you're crazy, man. I look to you like a murderer? So of course you don't. So he said to me, so why are you offering me such a job? I said, you're doing a bigger crime for $100. I'm lowering your crime for $20,000. So what do you mean? I said, let me explain to you something. If I come to you and I say, see this little baby, 1 year old, cute baby, look how he smiles. I'm going to give you $1 million cash. All you have to do, it's a little hard what I'm going to say, but try to get the point. Don't get scared. You take the head of the baby and drown him in a tub, $1 million cash. So now he really got angry already. You know, there's a limit how much you can hear. So he told me, you're totally crazy. You're not normal. I said to him, why? 2 million. I said, hey, you're making a fool out of me? I said, why? What's the problem? Everything in life has a price. How much would convince you to do such thing? 10 million? Just name it. I said, nothing. Any amount of money you give me, I'm unable to take a little innocent baby and drown him to death. I can't do it. I said, oh, Baruch Hashem, you're a decent person. Baruch Hashem. But do you know that by turning your car on Shabbat, it's a much bigger crime than that, and you do it for free every day 100 times? He said to me, are you normal? You comparing starting the car on Shabbat to killing an innocent baby? What kind of a fool would say such thing? I say, you're right. It's really very foolish what I just said. There's only one problem. The creator of the world wrote it in his book. What can we do? Whether we understand why, whether we don't understand, it's not relevant. It's not relevant what we think, what we agree with, or the way they raise that in a secular school. In Shamayim, nobody cares. In Shamayim, they have the rules the same time from Moshe Rabbeinu until today, nothing changed. The Torah says, if you have the nerve to break my holy day, my Shabbat, the day that I rested, I created the world in 6 days, and the 7th day I did not create anything. And I told you, you are my son, you are my daughter, banim atem la'Hashem Elokechem, bachem bacharti mikol ha'amim liot li le'am. I chose you from the entire world. I made you my children. You walk with a stamp on your head. I am a son of God. I am a daughter of God. We have relationship with God, special, family. He's our father, not only our king, our father. I chose you because I love you, not because you many, because you're the smallest nation, and you are my children, and I chose you to be mine, and this is what I demand from you. You have to behave like me. I'm generous, you have to be generous. I'm kind, you have to be kind. I'm honest, you have to be honest. I'm giving, I'm helping, you have to help. I have mercy on the widow, you have to have mercy on the widow. I care about the orphans, you have to care about the orphans. I want holiness, you have to live holy. I hate lack of modesty, you have to hate lack of modesty. I'm faithful, you have to be faithful. I'm grateful for those who listens to me, you have to be grateful. I will never do an ungrateful thing, you have to be like me. And the most important thing, I want the whole world to know that this Shabbat that I separated from the rest of the week, it's a special day for me. And I want you to be like me in that day. Do not create fire. Do not create anything. Don't write. Don't do these things that people do. They go in, they can do whatever they want. As a matter of fact, if the guy wants to keep Shabbat, it's not allowed. Shabbat, it's a privilege. It's not a punishment. You know how many... If I show you now 500 emails from Goyim that beg me to keep Shabbat, and I tell them, no, you're not allowed to keep Shabbat, would you believe me or no? One after the other. Please, Rabbi, tell me I'm allowed to keep Shabbat. You're not allowed. What can I do to keep Shabbat? He's willing to close his store, to close his business. Some of them wants to leave everything, the family, the house, leave to his wife everything, leave her children, leave the house, just come to New York, that I'll agree to teach him Torah, that he will become a Jew. And we, that were born Jews, take it for granted. So I'm a Jew. Hashem Yerachem. You know, Rav Lasri...
Does it cause discriminations?
No. Well, I tell you why. No.
Many people love the Jews.
No, I tell you why.
Because of this attitude.
No, Bill Gates, let me explain to you something. Bill Gates has, I think, 2 children. And they're going to get billions, and I won't get it. It's discrimination. It's not fair. He loves his children more than he loves me.
It's not about money. We're talking about religious.
So what I'm saying to you like this, look. There's a reason why God chose the Jews. Why? He wrote in the Torah. And by the way, the Goyim do not deny it. Muslim, Christian, they believe in the same Torah. The Muslims don't deny that God chose the Jews. As a matter of fact, we call the nation of the book. Who called us the nation of the book? Muhammad. Muhammad made that title to the Jews. Am a Sefer, the nation of the book. The Christians, they deny the Torah. Chas v'shalom. They say, of course, God gave the Torah to the Jews. They just want to make up another book. The Goyim don't get crazy when they read that Hashem chose the Jews. They call us the chosen people. I have thousands of Goyim who say, bottom line, you are the chosen people because they read it in their book. Discrimination, it's when you separate between 2 people because of the color of their skin or because of their how much money they have, or because what country they were born in, or one is pretty and one is ugly, or one is smart and one is foolish, one is healthy and one is handicapped. That's discrimination. But when the king of the world made a covenant with a group of people and he told them, you have to keep A, B, C, D, your life will be more complicated, more things to keep, but I will reward you more for doing more. The goyim, they'll get the reward. Believe it or not. Goyim, many goyim goes to heaven and many Jews do not go to heaven. Why? The Jews that don't keep Shabbat can never go to heaven. But the Goy that keeps the 7 laws, he goes to heaven. There will be many Arabs who goes to heaven. Many general Goyim who goes to heaven. Plenty of Jews who do not go to heaven. Why? They violate the foundation of everything, which is Shabbat. So there's no discrimination. If somebody comes to work for 2 hours, he gets $20. If he works 10 hours, he gets $100. After 10 years, there's $1 million difference. It's not discrimination. I work harder and I get paid more. However, the reason that God chose us, the Torah say why. Not because we're special. Only for one reason. Because he loved Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and he made an eternal covenant with them that he will never replace their children with any other nation. The Torah says, I'm giving you the Holy Land not because you're righteous. Because I promised Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. I have no choice. I have to keep my promise. It says clearly. And there's another reason. Because you are bad and the Goyim are bad. But they are worse than you. So I'm taking them out of the Holy Land and I'm giving it to you. That's what the Torah says. The Torah says, את כל התועבות האלה עשו הגויים והקוץ בם. The Goyim did not lose this privilege just because they're Goyim. They lost the privilege because they were idols worshippers for thousands of years. All over the world, they worship idols. And because of sex crimes. The land was full of to'avot. Sodom and Gomorrah, it's in Israel, Sodom and Gomorrah, Sodom. You go to Israel until today, you see those places that the Torah spoke about. Now many people say, why God did not give the Torah to Adam? He created Adam 5,774 years ago. He should have given the Torah to Adam, teach your children, teach your grandchildren, the whole world will have one nation. Why to create nations? When you create nations, you create conflicts, wars, problems. Give the Torah to Adam, everyone is his children, everyone will be now. Why you need Arab, Jews, Americans, Europeans, why you need Chinese, why do you need all this? Make everyone one nation, give the Torah, everyone has the same rules and finish. The answer is, to get the Torah, it's a merit, it's a privilege, it's not something that somebody forces you to. It's something that you have to beg to get. In order for you to get the Torah, you have to be worthy of that. This is the rule that Hashem made. Torah niknet al yedei isurim, al yedei amal. Not just because I have beautiful eyes, I got the Torah. No, it doesn't work this way. So now, Adam made a sin. Hashem excluded him from receiving the Torah. Then he had 2 sons, Cain and Hevel. Hevel was righteous, Cain was wicked. Cain killed Hevel. So Hevel is gone, Cain is a wicked guy, he cannot get the Torah. After that, everyone in the world was wicked. Until we get to Noach. Noach tzaddik. The Torah says, Noach ish tzaddik tamim haya bedorotav. Noach have 3 sons. Hashem said, okay, let me give it. Only one was righteous, the other 2 was wicked. Who was righteous? Shem. We, the Jews, came from Shem. That's why someone who hate Jews, his name is Anti-Shemi. Anti-Semite, because we came from this Shem. That's why they call it, what's the connection, Anti-Shemi? Anti is allergic to the children of Shem, which is the Jews. Okay, so Shem was righteous, but Ham and Yefet were not. So Hashem said, Ham and Yefet cannot get the Torah. And then Shem has children, they're not tzaddikim, all of them, until we get to Avraham Avinu. Hashem said, oh, Avraham deserves to get the Torah. Then Avraham go with Agar, and he brings Pere Adam Ishmael. The Torah say, Pere Adam yado bakol v'yad kol bo. We see today what Ishmael did. So Hashem said, you brought Ishmael to the world, I don't want to give the Torah to Ishmael. So Abraham didn't get it. So now Yitzchak. Hashem said, okay, let's give the Torah to Yitzchak. Yitzchak have Esav. Hashem said, I don't want Esav to have my Torah. So now who's going to get? Yaakov. Oh, now is a turning point. Yaakov, all his sons tzaddikim. No one was a murderer. No one was idol worshipper. Everybody tzaddikim. Hashem say, Yaakov will get the Torah. Lo yikare shimcha od Yaakov, shimcha Israel. Hashem changed his name to Israel. After he changed his name to Israel, the preparation for Matan Torah began. In the Israeli army, when you join the Israeli army, you are a spoiled 18 years old kid from Tel Aviv, from Chulon, from Bat Yam. I'm talking from experience. Most Israelis who grew up in Israel in a secular life, nightclubs, disco, bars, beach, vacations, school, some learn, most of them don't learn. So they really did nothing with their life. All of a sudden, they have ponytail, this, earrings, that. They got an order to come to the Israeli army. They come to the Israeli army. This guy came from a very rich house. This one this one is a DJ. Everyone stands over there. The criminal, the genius, the nerd, everyone rich, poor, everyone stand over there. There's no connection between them. He comes from this style, he comes from that style. Right away they shave the head of everyone. Right away they give you horrible uniform, you smell it, you want to die. They give you blankets. I'm talking to you, I remember this day like it was yesterday. You bang on the blanket, the dust choke 50 people in a room. Asthma. They need, why? So much dust in this blanket, and you have to sleep in it, and some of them have lice. The lice goes in the skin.
Scabies.
Yes, scabies, thank you. And then you have to be 46 soldiers in one room, bunk beds, one end, you don't have privacy. The bathroom, I don't want to even mention what it is. There's no bathroom. There's a hole in the ground. And it's flooded up to your knees. And it's cold and you have to go there. That's most of the bases. What do you think? It's United States? It's Israel. So what happened? You go over there, 1 month tironut. 1 month, they humiliate you so much. You lose your entire pride and ego to zero. Why? This soldier is only 6 months in the army. He's your commander. You just joined the army. He's only 6 months. He puts you down to the garbage. He makes you don't want to live anymore. Porn on the floor, run, come back, don't talk to me. Why you not shaved? They pick on you. Why they do it? They want to break you mentally. Why? Forget about the beach anymore. Forget about your mom who make you tea and bring it to your bed. Forget about the spoiled days of Tel Aviv. These days are over. Now you're going to fight against the Hezbollah with what do we think? You need soldiers like you. They shave your head. They give you this lifestyle and you begin to run. 2 o'clock at night. They shoot in the middle of the night. They wake you up. Why they do this? Because they're cruel? The answer is no. It's your cousin, it's your brother. It's all Jews. They do it because there's no other way to prepare the soldier right away to the battle. What are you going to do? Teach them 3 years how to be soldiers? In 1 month, we became soldiers. 1 month ago, we were on the beach, living in illusion. All of a sudden, we're in a battle. Some of them went to 6 months, the real fighters. But that's it. They made you a machine gun. That's everyone, everything on a minute. You have 7 minutes from the minute you open your eyes to be on the truck dressed. 7 minutes. And just to put this big into uniform and brush your teeth and take all your stuff and run and the truck is waiting outside. You miss the truck, you have to walk 3 hours because it's somewhere in the middle of nowhere in a desert. There's no other way. This is what Hashem did to the Jews. I'm about to give you Torah with rules. If you come from freedom, no one would be able to keep it. I'm sending you to Egypt for slavery. Only when you be down to earth in your mentality, you would say everything you tell us Hashem will do. We're not spoiled. What can be worse than Egypt? Whatever you give us, we'll do. And that's exactly what happened. The only problem is that 6 months after they became free, they started to complain. The food is not good enough, there's not enough water, this, that, and the rest of the story you know. Now, one of the most important foundation in Judaism, it's the house. A person is incomplete until he gets married. That's what the Torah says. And he's even more complete when he has children. The truth is that women don't have obligations to have children according to the Torah. That's really the truth. If a woman has children, she does a very big mitzvah. But she doesn't have an obligation to have children. A man has obligation to do everything he can to have children. What happens if a man has 10 boys? He did not fulfill the mitzvah of pru'urvu. If he has 10 girls, he did not fulfill pru'urvu. If he had 1 boy and 1 girl, he fulfilled the mitzvah. This is one of the most, I don't want to say strange, but how to understand mitzvot in the Torah. Why? This mitzvah depends on reality. You can do everything all your life to have a boy and a girl, and you didn't have. You have 10 boys. What can you do? That's it. Your wife cannot give birth anymore. You have 10 boys. Your friend had a boy and a girl. His wife gave only 2 babies, and your wife gave 10. He made it, and you didn't. This is one thing that's how to understand. And not only that, the kids, if you have a boy and a girl, and God forbid they're barren, they cannot have children. The man or the woman, you did not fulfill the mitzvah. So you have to wait until they're 20, and then until they get married, and then when you see that your daughter had a kid, and your son had a kid, now you can, Baruch Hashem, I made this mitzvah. But if they don't have kids, it's a problem. You did not fulfill the mitzvah. But it's even worse than that. Even if you had a boy and a girl, or even 10 boys and 10 girls, and God forbid they all die, you lost the mitzvah. So this mitzvah, you have to just purely stand and beg Hashem, give me the zchut to have this mitzvah, because it's really not in my hand. Maybe 5% is in my hand. There are other mitzvot like this. Not every mitzvah is in our hand. For instance, some mitzvot women cannot do. Some mitzvot men cannot do. Some mitzvot only a rich guy can do. Poor guy can never do. Some mitzvot only a boss can do. Even if he's not rich, he has employees. Someone who doesn't have employees will never keep it. Some mitzvot vegetarian cannot do, like slaughtering an animal, putting salt, covering the blood of when it's slaughtered. Vegetarian will never do because he ate meat. So that not all the mitzvot apply to all Jews. Some mitzvot apply more, some mitzvot apply less. But one thing that applies to everyone is to get married and continue the human race in the world. The problem today that the marriage institution in Judaism is not doing so well. In some places the divorce rate is more than 70%. As a matter of fact, in Israel there's a place called Rabbanut. There's an old man sitting over there for 20, 30 years already. And there are 2 rooms. One room in Hebrew it say Kiddushin, and one room it say Gerushin. One right next to another. So all the young happy couples coming in with a smile, they walk into the room of marriage, they fill up the application, the papers, the date of the marriage, and they come out with a smile. So this old man is sitting over there, he say, hey, don't forget to take a number from this room also. So they look in the sign, they see Gerushin. So they look at this old man. It's really happening, it's not a joke. So they said to him, shame on you, what, you wish us to get divorced? We didn't even get married yet. He said, God forbid. What do you think? I want you to get divorced? What do I have against you? I don't even know you. I just sit here for 20 years, I know what's happening. Everyone who comes from this room with a smile, 2 years later come to take a number here, and now 2 years of torture until they get divorced. So I'm telling you, save the 2 years waiting. Take a number just in case. It's a sad joke. Why did we get to this situation? I always said, and I will repeat it again, that if I had the time and the money, I would open a college. Not the college you think of. There are plenty of those. I would open a special college. What? College that teach marriage, what marriage is, what does it mean to be a husband, what does it mean to be a wife, what does it mean to be a parent, how to raise children. There is so much to learn that we all make so many mistakes. in a marriage, in raising children. But if we would get the proper education before we get married, 90% of the problems we have every second of our life would not come. I'll give you an example. Man, by the time he gets married, he doesn't really know anything about women. And typical man, Jewish man, American, Israeli, Persian, what does he know about women? Nothing. He never read about the psychology of the women. He doesn't understand what does it mean depression in the times of giving birth, before or after, and all kinds of things that relates to the woman, the way her nefesh is reacting, what you can tell a woman, what you can never tell a woman, he never learned it. So what's happened? He gets married, 6 months later his wife runs back to her mother. Why? She cannot live with him. So I'll give you an example, some of the common mistakes that men do. First mistake, especially by the Persians, he said to his wife, you have to learn how to make gondi for my mother. Now in one sentence, first he broke up the connection between him and his wife, and he made his wife and his mother like Khomeini and Saddam Hussein. Why? Thank you. Why is it? Your mother is a wonderful woman, poor woman. What does she have to do with that? This is the psychology of the woman. Oh, she's cooking better than me? Already became a competition. One guy comes to me in Queens one time. He said to me, listen, something went bad in my marriage. I said, what's happening? He said, listen, I've been married for 1 year. I'm suspecting that my wife maybe found another man, he said to me. So I said to him, you have any proof? He said, no. I checked the computer, I checked the phone, nothing. So I said to him, so what makes you think so? He said, listen, you tell me. First 6 months of the marriage, we're like one long honeymoon. Honey, darling, honey, dad, I home, you know, beautiful. All of a sudden, 6 months, all she does is avoiding me. I'm a headache today. I don't feel good. I have to.
Rolex watch. All this.
Wait. Now you understand why it happened. So I'm beginning to think to myself, what can happen if he said that he didn't catch her doing anything wrong? So I say to him, I know what happened. So he looks at me and says, how do you know? So I say to him, you told your wife 6 months ago that she gained weight? His eyes almost came out. He said, yes, tell her all the time. I said to me, okay, your marriage is over. So what? So your wife doesn't feel secure to be near you anymore. Until that day, she was the queen of the world. Darling, you're so pretty, you're this, you're nice, that. All of a sudden you tell her you gain weight, which means in her mind, you are ugly, I don't like you anymore. Now she lost her confidence. So I told him, tell me the truth. Isn't now your wife always hiding herself from you? He said, yes. How do you know? Do you Ruach HaKodesh? I said, no Ruach HaKodesh, no Ruach HaKodesh. Nothing. Simple common sense. This is a common mistakes that people do. So this is an example how people make mistake to finish the marriage. And believe it or not, from stupid things like this, marriages are broken. One more common problem is that the young married couple, they always repeat that mistake. Every argument they have, they run to tell their parents. It's not allowed to tell your parents that you had an argument with your husband. It's not allowed to tell your parents that your wife does not clean, or she does not respect you enough, or she made a comment. It's not allowed. First of all, it's Lashon Hara, which is already a sin from the Torah. But even if it wasn't Lashon Hara, what happened? The parents don't see the whole picture. They only hear from the son, my wife all day sleeps. All day sleeps. So they say, what did we do? Okay, give her a get and come back home. Or the wife is very arrogant. He doesn't respect me. He makes comments. I can't live with him. Again and again. She doesn't say he gives her money, he bought her a car, he gives her whatever she wants, he also gives her compliments. She doesn't say that. She only say to her mother, I'm having a very hard time with him. He does this to me, he does this. So now over the year, all they hear is negative. What kind of monster Khatan we have? So what happened? One day I'm going to Brooklyn, I give a lecture, then I see in a lecture one person is calling me again and again. I know right away something happened. I finished the lecture, almost 12 o'clock at night. I call like the number. I need you to help me. What? You have connection in a bed din? Set me up for tomorrow morning for divorce. A couple that are married, they have one child, maybe they marry a year and a half. Beautiful couple, two nice religious kids, looks like movie stars. Beautiful match, everything fine. They want to get divorced. So I say to him, what happened? So I cannot live in this house anymore. Her parents destroyed me. So I say, listen, you're lucky I'm in Brooklyn. Let me come to your house. I go to the house. We sit there for about an hour and a half. And then I found out that the source of the problem, there's no problem. It's only that the parents of this girl are such mean people and such foolish people that they actually do everything they can to break the marriage. They keep telling you, take the kid and come to us. Take the kid and come to us. They come to the house, they open the closet. Your husband is cheap. He's stingy. Why you don't have 10 cans of tunas? Why you have this? Why even sugar you don't have? Why the fridge is half empty? So over the year, they destroyed him. What broke the fight was that her car broke, and for 3 days it was in a garage. And he did not run to fix her car. So when they heard that their daughter does not have a car for 3 days, they started to tell her, you see, he doesn't love you. You didn't listen to us. We told you it's not good for you. Come home now. If it would be his car, he would fix it in 10 minutes. If it's your car, he will be there for a month. So I say to her, I don't understand. You don't understand. The Torah say, once you get married, your parents are gone. That's it. They're not in a picture. They're way behind your husband. The Torah says when a husband got married, his parents is behind. That's it. His wife is his partner for life. ועזב את אביו ואמו ודבק באשתו. Why Hashem wrote it in the Torah? Until the day you got married, your father is your second God, your mother is the third God. That's it. Once you got married, your wife is the second God. No more your parents. And if you take your parents' side against your wife, you're violating the agreement that you signed in front of the rabbi and two witnesses in the time of the ketubah. The men don't have any idea what they sign in the day of the wedding. That's how foolish we are. He come and sign a personal guarantee with two witnesses, with money, 5 until tomorrow, to take the eyes of everyone. And he doesn't understand what he signed. Now you come to do a test today. Go back to your husband and tell them, Itzik, Moshe, Avi, can I ask you a question? Can you explain to me what you signed on a ketubah? If one of your husband would know everything, I'll give him a prize. They have no idea. He said, what did I sign? I signed that I marry you. What else? I signed that if we get divorced, I give you money. No, what else? That's it. That's the maximum they know. What are the three things that the men sign in a ketubah? Who knows? No, which means one thing is that he will give her a nice place to live, according to his ability. Poor man, he takes a room in a basement. Wealthy guy, he takes a nice house, comfortable, white, nice, clean, no problem. It's not a sin to live in a nice place. Okay. Now, second thing, to give her what to wear. Not just one dress for 50 years. Even though, if you really know Torah a little bit, you know that the more clothes you have, the worse it gets. Why? The Torah say, I took you in the desert for 40 years. 40 שנה, 40 years, שמלתך לא בלטה מעליך. 40 years, I had mercy on you that you did not need to change your clothes. Tell it to a woman today, you know I love you so much, that's why I'm going to make you such a dress for 40 years, you don't have to replace it. She runs from the window. But from Hashem, mashma, that it's a privilege not to change clothes. If you're able to wear the same suit 40 years, and it gets cleaned by the clouds, and there's no holes, and it's 100%, then you should not worry about fashion. I'm tired of this color, Rabbi. One time I was invited to a house, not in Great Neck, so you can relax. The woman, she told me, Rabbi, I need you to come put mezuzot in my house. Whatever it costs, I pay, I don't care. So I say, how many mezuzot you need? She told me, at least 80. So I thought I didn't hear well. I thought 18. So I told her, 18 mezuzot? 18, it's okay. She said, no, at least 80, maybe 100, I don't know, you tell me. So I said, well, why? It's a full day job. Full day. She said, yeah, can you bring someone to help you? So I got a guy from the yeshiva, and we went to their house. Now, all day, we baked mezuzot, another room. It was such a house, size of hotel. It's already 5 o'clock. I'm thinking to myself, will I make it to mincha? We won't be able to pray now. But then I came to the final floor, which is the royal suite, where their bedroom. So now I come, I see they have one long closet. When the closet have 2 doors, a little separation, 2 doors, separation, 2 doors. And it's like actually 3 or 4 closets attached. So I'm thinking to myself, each closet here needs mezuzah, because it's so big, it's like the size of a room, you can put a bed inside. So the closet alone needs few mezuzot. Then I open the closet, I see 300 pairs of shoes. Whoa. She has. And this was an ultra Orthodox, righteous Persian woman, like a real rabbit said. 300 pairs of shoes. I'm looking at the shoes. I said, how many shoes? But at that time, I realized that women have weakness to shoes. I didn't know that. Oh, man, there's 2-3 pairs of shoes. He's happy. 300 pairs of shoes. And the yeshiva guy, she gave him $300 tip. He doesn't make it in a whole month. Anyway, $300 for helping to put the mezuzot. Bottom line, what I'm saying to you is like this. A husband has to give his wife according to what he has, what he makes, what he can afford. No problem. Now, that's not enough. House and clothes to wear, she can be the most miserable person in the world. No, so she has a house. So what? Now comes the most important part. Next one is what? Intimate relationship. Love, caring, this. And if he says, I'm going with my friends on a vacation, and if she says, no, I want you to be in a house, he's not allowed to go. The Gemara gives a list of what professions have to be with their wives how many times, according to their job. Some go on a camel 3 months, it's different jobs. So they make them a list of obligation. How many times is the minimum you have to be with your wife? If not, it's a crime. Now you come to a religious husband and you say to him, do you know that today you did not put tefillin? He says, are you crazy? I did not miss tefillin one time in my life. If I have to pay $5,000 not to miss a day of tefillin, I won't hesitate. You came to me that I did not put tefillin, I have news for you. I put 2 pairs of tefillin. Rashi and Rabbeinu Tam. So you say to him, no, my friend. Today you violated a rule from the Torah. You signed on a ketubah, and your wife wanted one thing, and you went away. That's the violation from the Torah. He will look at you. Are you normal? Violation of the Torah. That's what they don't know. Women also do not know their job. Women has a job. So that's why I say, if I could, I open that college. By the way, besides the point, it would be
Women has 3 jobs.
What's the 3 jobs? That's it.
Number 1 jobs.
You know, they have...
To work outside, to raise the kids, to be wife.
Okay, so to work outside, women is not obligated. If she wants to work, she can work. If she doesn't want to work, she doesn't have to. If she has to, she works. You're right. Women has much harder jobs than men, in general. Some women are luckier than others. They have maids. The maids do everything for them.
If she went for it,
Yeah.
she's beautiful and doesn't work.
Excuse me, I cannot hear you. What?
And the rabbi, he has to go to work. Great.
Yes.
She does 99% jobs at home.
Yes. You know what it is? It's very difficult to compare between the job of the man to the job of the woman. Why? People think that sitting and learning Gemara all day in yeshiva 10 hours is an easy job.
No, it's not easy.
It's a very difficult job.
To make a living too.
I know, because
You have to be independent. The other tzedakah and the other donation, the other this.
100%. No, I'm saying someone that has money and he wants to learn in yeshiva. Learning 10 hours a day Gemara, it's mentally, physically make you unable to get up from the chair. Ben Zion Abba Shaul couldn't get up from the chair when he finished to learn by the end of the day. They had to pick him up. He said, you know, they had to, Mama, the Chazon Ish, his bed and the chair where he was learning was 2 steps. He could not make it from the chair to the bed. Because it's the mind, when the mind is focusing for so many hours, it takes away the energy of the entire body. However, it doesn't mean that the wife of the women is not difficult, especially the more kids they have, the more difficult it gets. Plus, also it depends what kind of kids they have. Sometimes one kid is like 10. You can have 5 kids and they're all nice and polite and quiet and they don't make problems. And you can have one kid is destroying you. Screaming in a store, everywhere, running around, always, you don't know where he is. So everyone, what Hashem gave them, this is the test. Let's conclude and I give you some time for questions. Any questions you have, prepare it now. Shabbat, remember what I said, is not, okay, tradition. Okay, one day we will keep. No. Right away. It's like playing not with fire, playing with atomic bomb in your hand. Chas v'shalom, it can explode, it will be too late. When a person leaves the world, he won't be able to come back and say, okay, Hashem, send me back, I promise I'll keep Shabbat. Once he missed the train, he missed the train. If a person died and he was not Shomer Shabbat in the time of his death, he cannot enter the ticket where Hashem gave to every Jew. Every Jew is born with a ticket, but the ticket has conditions. If we did not keep Shabbat, it's one of the main conditions. We cannot enter the place that Hashem promised to the souls for eternity. We just cannot enter. Even if you did a lot of wonderful things, Hashem will pay you in this world, and there's no entry to Mechalel Shabbat. Remember this, Mechalel Shabbat, the Torah says, V'nichreta הנפש ההיא מישראל. It says in 12 different variations, ונכרתה הנפש ההיא מעמיה. And מות יומת, מות בעולם הזה, יומת לחיי העולם הבא. Who understand Hebrew good here? What does it mean, ונכרתה הנפש ההיא מישראל? That soul gets cut off from the nation of Israel. He has no share to the world to come. Now, who, chas v'shalom, wants to get such a punishment? Who wants, chas v'shalom, to get such a punishment for driving the car to the mall or to the coffee shop or to the bagel store on Shabbat here in Great Neck? Who wants to get such a response from Hashem as results of some silly things that we do? What are we gaining on Shabbat? What's the challenge? Oh, so I won't be able to go to my mother? So you sleep by your mother, or your mother sleep by you. I know the Persian likes to gather everyone together on Shabbat. No problem. Baruch Hashem, Hashem gave pretty big houses. There's room for everyone. Get some new beds, mattresses. The whole family is invited. You'll be by us on Shabbat. What? There's not plenty of religious people that the whole family come to them for Shabbat? I did few Shabbatonim with some famous Persians. 70 people came. It was beautiful, wonderful Shabbat. Sometimes more, sometimes less. It's no contradiction. To drive to visit friends or parents is not allowed on Shabbat. One person told me in San Diego, so Rabbi, listen, we live here in San Diego. There's only one shul. It takes me 40 minutes to drive to the shul. You telling me now not to come to the shul with a car? My children, the only Jewish thing they see is those 3 hours that I come to shul here. Other than that, they have no connection to Judaism. They go to public school, San Diego. So you're really telling me that God prefer that I will stay home on Shabbat and not take the kids to the shul just because I'm driving the car? What do you think? He has a point or no?
Yes.
The answer is, it doesn't have a point at all. Why? I'll explain. Rule number one, who told him to live there? He can live next to a shul. But let's say he could not afford. Maybe the shul is expensive and where he lives is cheap. He cannot afford to buy a house, cannot rent a house. Okay. So he's anus. He's forced to live far. So what's better, that he'll pray at home on Shabbat alone? Than driving in a car to shul? That's his question. The answer is absolutely. Not only that, it's better that all his life, 70 years, him and his children will never see a shul once in their life, than one time to start the car on Shabbat. Did you hear what I just said? 70 years you pray at home in your bedroom or in your kitchen, lonely, miserable, lonely, alone. It's better than one time to drive to the shul, one time. Why is it? When Hashem gave us the rules of Shabbat, He told us Shabbat, ot I beni uvenechem. Ot, it's a sign between you and I. That's the glue. And Hashem said, there's only one permission to violate Shabbat. Pikuach nefesh, doche Shabbat. Life risk of a Jew gives you temporary permission to put Shabbat on hold until the life risk is over, not the whole Shabbat. If the boy, lo alenu, has high fever, you don't know, high fever can end up in death, even if it's 1 to 1,000. You're allowed to put him in a car and drive him to the emergency room. Or you call the doctor to come to the house, or Atzala. Why are you allowed? Because there's a possible life risk here. Not certain, possible. 1% chance, it's enough. You violate Shabbat. But once you came to the hospital and they told him, oh, it's nothing, it's a little infection. Here, give him this antibiotic and everything is fine. What happened? You're not allowed to come back with the car home. That's it, there's no life risk. Not only that, you're not allowed to shut the car. When you get to the hospital, you cannot put the engine off. And you cannot close the door because it will close the light. The life risk is over. But they'll steal your $100,000 Mercedes. Let them steal it. It does not permit to violate Shabbat for $1 billion cash. If a person has $100 million mansion in the most expensive place in the world, and fire caught on a rug on Shabbat, and in 10 minutes, you know in America it's all wood, 10 minutes the whole house will go on fire. 10 minutes. There is Sifrei Torah, there's Gmarot, there's diamonds, there's Persian antique rugs, there's Picasso pictures. It's all going to get burned. Put the fire off. Take a blanket, put the fire off, save the house. Tomorrow you give $1 million donation to the yeshiva instead of losing $100 million. You're not allowed. You're only allowed if by putting the fire you save life. But if everyone can run away without putting the fire off, the maximum you're allowed to do is to stand on the street and scream to Ahmed and Mustafa. Whoever's going to put the fire off would not lose. You're not even allowed to tell him, Ahmed, come put the fire off before my house goes on fire. You're not allowed.
The goy.
Tell the goy. Ahmed. What Ahmed? Is a Jew?
Called firefighters? You can't spot.
Not allowed to call firefighter. Only if somebody locked in an attic and he cannot come downstairs, then it's a life risk. What did you just understand from what I say? $100 million does not justify 1 second of violation of Shabbat. And you're going to do it 70 years non-stop with no hesitation? How can it be? Do you understand the rules of Hashem? The last thing Hashem wants is for Jews to lose all their life saving. I promise you. And if something like this happens, there's no permission to put the fire off. So I told that Jew, when Hashem gave the Torah, He made only one exception to the rule. What is it? Life risk. Why didn't Hashem write in the Torah, I give a second permission, second exception to the rule. Second, what is it? To go to shul and pray. To pray together, I allow to violate Shabbat. There's nowhere in the Torah. Now, when Hashem gave the Torah, He knew there's going to be Jews live in Alaska, in Honolulu, in Hawaii, in San Diego, on the moon. Did He know or He did not know? He knew. So why He did not write in the Torah, I allow you to come to shul by violating Shabbat? Because the shul is not more important than Shabbat. Now I want to ask you a question. What's more important, the holiness of Shabbat or the holiness of life?
Holiness of life.
Very smart woman here. She catches quick, but you're wrong. Why you're wrong? Not because you're wrong, because everyone is wrong. Not you, everyone. Everyone thinks the holiness of life is higher than Shabbat. Why? If it would be less than Shabbat, then you would not allow to violate Shabbat. You had to let the person die. Because life risk put Shabbat on hold, it showed that life is more important than Shabbat. Wrong. What does the Torah say? חלל עליו שבת אחת כדי שישמור שבתות הרבה. The only reason that Hashem gave us permission to violate Shabbat to save the life of this Itzik is because he has now 500 extra Shabbatot until he died to keep. 500 against one, 500 wins. Not because life is more important than Shabbat. Shabbat is more important than life. Without that, we had to let the person die and not to violate Shabbat. Even if it's our own child. That's what Shabbat is. Nobody knows. People think, driving the car, big deal. Some people tell me, if it's so serious, why Hashem doesn't kill the Mechalelei Shabbat? They all live, they drive, they enjoy. Where is the justice? The Torah says, Mot Yumat, and they live. Where is the justice? What, the Torah is lying? The answer is, what do you think would be in the world if Hashem will retaliate to everything we do immediately? You give $1,000 donation, right away you check your bank account, there's $2,000 in. You give $2,000 donation, you go to the computer, $4,000 wire. You give the 4, you got 8. You give the 8, you got 16. Oh, you stole 1,000, right away someone robbed you for 2,000. You stole 2,000, you right away someone stole 4,000 from you. You got the point. You will never steal. What's the point? I steal 2, I lose 4. Even Arafat, Imach Shimo, would stand online on the shul here in Middle Neck Road. Rabbi, I have $1 million to give. The Rabbi said, why you came to us? He said, don't worry, I'm giving you the $1 million. I know I get $2 million right away. Everyone would give all the time. Tzedakah, because you're doubling your money. Because Hashem give you reward right away. What kind of life is this? If everyone who light a cigarette on Shabbat, explode. So the first Jew who light a cigarette on Shabbat explode to 1,000 pieces. His friends say, coincidence, something went bad with the cigarette. He also lit a cigarette, explode also. Do you think after that one person in the universe would dare to violate Shabbat? As soon as Shabbat starts, even an hour before, everyone stand like this. Moshe, you get the kids ready, you have to go to shul. Shh, Shabbat, I don't want to move. Why? By mistake, I moved the light. Don't want to move. Why? I saw one person, second person, they by mistake violate Shabbat, boom, they gone. I don't want to move on Shabbat. So what kind of life would it be? There's no free choice. Everyone would be a robot. No one will be violator of Shabbat, but no one deserves any reward. Because, of course, nobody wants to die. You deserve a reward for not wanting to get killed. You're not doing it for Hashem. You're not doing it because it's the right thing to do. You're only doing it because you know if you're going to light a cigarette, you die. That's not what Hashem wanted. Hashem wanted you to do whatever you choose. And in the end, there's a trial. When we die, all of us stands in front of Hashem. Everyone here should know. Time is up?
No. I'm sorry if you're hungry.
you should know one thing. When a person dies, 1 year trial. That's why we say Kaddish on the people that passed away for 1 year. 1 year trial. The difference in Hashem's courtroom to Manhattan courtroom. In Manhattan courtroom, you have a lawyer, you have a friend, someone knows the judge. You know, you can somehow get away with some of the crimes. With Hashem, you cannot run away. One thing everybody should know. The Torah says, Ayin ro'ah ve'ozen shoma'at ve'chol ma'asecha b'sefer nichtavim. There's an eye who constantly records you. There's a ear who listens to you, everything you say, and everything is written in a book of God constantly. Video, everything is recorded. And then in the end, everyone would face what he did. One time, I heard an amazing mashal, parable, that froze my blood. You know how you feel the blood is frozen? That's how I felt. The rabbi that told the mashal already passed away a few years ago. But this mashal was a word to come to this world just to hear it, to see how we can live in a lie all our life without realizing it. So the mashal was like this. One guy wanted to make a scene with a Goya. He met Christine and he wants to make a scene with her. So what does he do? He looks for a hotel. He comes to the hotel. He wants to go and make a scene. And what did he see? A non-Jew is cleaning the room. ¿Cómo está, señor? How are you? He felt bad, you know. He saw me, I'm a Jew like this. So he felt bad. So he said to her, listen, I have to go, I'm sorry. Another day. He ran away because he was embarrassed, because he knew the Jew looked at him. He was embarrassed to go into the room. The guy was looking at him. A week later, he came to the same place. He wants to make the scene. He see a little 2-year-old kid. He's looking at him like this. So he said to the kid, get out of the room, go to your mother. The kid doesn't want to go out. Get out. No, kid begins to cry. Take a candy, go buy yourself ice cream. The kid doesn't want to go. So he said to her, okay, we have to go. She said, well, why do you care? He's a kid, he doesn't understand. He said, 2 eyes staring at me like this, I can't. So he went. Then the next week he came again. He comes into the room, he see a little ugly dog on the bed like this, and the dog is angry and looking at him like this with his 2 black eyes. So he tried to push the dog out. The dog on alert. The dog is ready to attack. So he's trying to push the dog out of the room. The dog doesn't want to leave. So the Goya told him, what do you care about this dog? What does he understand? So he said, no, I can't. These 2 eyes staring at me like this, I just can't. And he went, and he gave up. One day he dies. He comes in front of Hashem, and Hashem begins with his life story until they got to that day. And then Hashem showed him how he came to make a scene. He already did not care about Hashem, nothing. He was about to do the scene. And the dog was staring at him. He was embarrassed from the dog. Then he's gonna hear such a scream. You care about the dog more than you care about me? The dog is more important than me? 7 years I'm watching you doing what you do. You don't care. A dog was staring at you. You cannot make the scene. The dog is more important than me? What are we going to say? And this is exactly how we behave. If we see a policeman, we get nervous. But what about Hashem? If we see the rabbi, we get nervous. But what about Hashem? How many people, they come to shul, so they're embarrassed from the rabbi, so they get dressed. As soon as they come out of the shul, in the car already, they change to the miniskirt. What? What about Hashem? The rabbi is more important than Hashem?
They think Hashem doesn't see,
That's the point. Yeah, but Hashem wrote in the Torah that He sees everything. Let's give some time for questions. מה קרה? אל תשכחי לקחת מרחוק תמונות, איזה 2-3, לכי לי באים לב, נו? צלמי את כל האווירה. No, don't get up. Well, please, we're finishing in 5 minutes. No.
Rabbi, doctors, when they work for a hospital or something, they have to work like a few Shabbats a month or a year.
Doctors, it's not the same like regular people. Some of the things they're allowed to do on Shabbat. Some of the things.
But the hospital is not next to the house.
Okay, so there are ways for doctors to go to the hospital. Maybe they take a goy, the goy drives them, or things like this. Or if there's an emergency, if they have patients that needs life, they're in a life risk, then the doctor is allowed to drive. And when he gets to the hospital, the goy will park the car for him or something. There's arrangements. Jewish doctors work in hospitals, religious. So there are ways to do it, but you have to learn a lot of halachot, what's allowed, what's not allowed, because in a hospital you have to buzz, to open the door, all kinds of things. You have to know the rules, and you have to write. Sometimes you're allowed to write, sometimes you're not allowed to write, depending on how severe is the sickness. The person just needs Advil. When he wants you to write for him to go to the pharmacy, you're not allowed. But if he needs against blood pressure that may cause him a stroke, then you're allowed to write. There's difference of the laws. Doctors that want to work on Shabbat, they need to learn the laws for doctors. There are books. Laws of Shabbat for doctors or nurses, which is more or less the same. Any questions? Yes, right there.
So if a place is kosher, but they're open on Shabbat, are you allowed to support them?
Okay, so now there are two things here.
There's different, like,
If the food is really kosher and you ate from that food, you did not violate the rules of kosher food, but you violated other rules. What other rules? Supporting a restaurant that opens on Shabbat with your money will extend the time that they violate Shabbat for more and more. If nobody would go to them, they'll go bankrupt. They'll be forced to close on Shabbat. Because people go to them, not necessarily on Shabbat, they go to them during the week. And they are successful because of that. They continue to open another Shabbat and another Shabbat and another Shabbat. So therefore, it's not allowed to eat by them because we give them the strength to continue to make a sin against Hashem. That's called Mesayea Bidei Ovrei Avera. It's supporting sinners. But if you ate the food over there and the food is glad kosher, you didn't eat chazir. You ate glad kosher. But there is a problem here. From experience, I tell you.
But what if it's owned by a non-Jew? Like, what about how
Wait, one second. From experience, I tell you one thing. A restaurant that's owned by a Jew and is not Shomer Shabbat, you cannot trust a word of what he say about how kosher the food is. And I'll tell you why. This person obviously is not religious because he's violating Shabbat. He doesn't believe in Hashem and the punishments of the Torah. He's not worried about his own life. He violates Shabbat and he doesn't care what's going to be his end. Why should he care about you and me? If he doesn't care about his own life, you think he cares what we eat? He doesn't believe in this. He looks at us as two stupid people who care about kosher food and we have no idea what we want. He looks at us with a pity. Poor religious people, brainwashed, stupid. The rabbis brainwashed them. They made them like this, stupid. That's how he thinks. Because if he didn't think like that, he would become himself eating kosher and keeping Shabbat. So therefore, if he doesn't care about his own life, how can we rely on him to care about our life? You understand? So it's like more or less a doctor that gives a seminar how dangerous is smoking, and he smokes non-stop while he's talking. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you, cigarettes cause cancer. Cigarette can cause heart attack. I have a list of 80 diseases that cigarette cause. So why is smoking? I love it. Who would listen to him? Do you think he would ever make another seminar? It would be the joke in town. This is more or less eating by Mechalel Shabbat that claim the food is kosher.
Sometimes people who smoke, they cannot stop smoking. It's disease.
I agree. It's an addiction. An addiction.
Alcoholists, you cannot stop. It's disease. It's
Right.
called disease.
Yeah, I know.
You cannot stop.
Everything you say is true, but I knew it. Everyone knows it. It's nothing new. Yes.
So basically, if a business is owned by a Jew and it's glad kosher and it's open on Shabbat, you shouldn't
You
really
cannot rely on them.
you shouldn't really support it. But if a business is owned, like if it's Haagen-Dazs or if it's I don't know,
By
something
Goyim,
else.
you're allowed to buy. During the week, you're allowed to buy from them. If it's owned by a Goy, but the product has a certification of kashrut, like OU or something like this, which is ice cream in a box, and they sell it on the shelves, or even the ice cream from the machine, if it's well known that this machine is done by Klein ice cream or something Jewish, then you're allowed to trust it. The problem is, like I said, when it's owned by a Jew and is violating Shabbat, that's a problem. That's why they don't give them kashrut. Why? Maybe the food is kosher, the ingredients, but they cannot rely on them. How do they give them kashrut? They open on Shabbat. Yeah.
You have mentioned that if someone that doesn't keep Shabbat and it says Kiddush, you have to say Kiddush over, and in relation to someone else that doesn't keep Shabbat. But how do you publicly, or how do you confront this with that person, not to cause bad feelings?
You don't.
Let's say you have someone at the table and he says Kiddush. So what do you do? In front of
Okay,
him,
so
you
there
say
are
Kiddush
rules to
again?
go around it. First of all, every person can do Kiddush for himself. He doesn't need someone else to do Kiddush for him. Usually it's more of a problem for women because they count on a man to do Kiddush. So if a woman with her husband goes to friends and they give the glass of wine to someone that they know is not Shomer Shabbat to do Kiddush, they have to know that, he's violating Shabbat. So they know now that this Kiddush is not good for them. They must repeat that Kiddush. So when they're going to do it? When he goes to wash his hands, they go to wash. Or when they begin to eat, they do quietly Kiddush. If they ask why you do Kiddush again, the Ashkenazim, they always do Kiddush for themselves. Even if the ones Shomer Shabbat, they still do. So you can say, we have a custom to do Kiddush for ourselves all the time. That's it, no problem. Or when he goes to the kitchen, you do quickly Kiddush. Or when he reads from the book, the do Kiddush, you hold the glass of wine and you repeat word by word with him for yourself. So there's no problem.
It's not just about Kiddush, I'm talking about the whole idea in general. Like how do you keep peace, but at the same time you keep, like for example, if you go in certain shuls, they don't give bracha to...
Yes, it's more important to keep the laws of God and to have peace with Him than to have peace with our friends and relatives. So if one comes on the expense of the other, we have to sacrifice with all the pain and the embarrassment that is involved. That's a part of the test in this world, not to be embarrassed from sinners. And if they take it to their heart, it's worth it for us, because this is what Hashem told us to do. So Hashem said, don't embarrass a Jew, but if he's a sinner, it's his problem, not yours. Don't embarrass him. If he's a kosher Jew and you embarrass him for some mistake that he made, that's like a murder. But if he's violating the rules and the halakha say that you cannot count on him, what can you do? The halakha say you're not allowed to give aliyah to the Torah to a Jew that is not Shomer Shabbat. He gets upset, you beg. I had a case like this in my shul. An Israeli guy from the kibbutz with curls like this, with jeans and sandals, showed up on Shabbat. He didn't have a place to sleep. He got stuck in New York. And someone sent him to somebody in Monsey. And he comes to Monsey, he's everyone religious. He got shocked. It's happened a week ago. So, So I will repeat. I will repeat. The lady here asked, sometimes the laws of the Torah cause tension between us and some of our friends and relatives. Why? If you don't give aliyah Shabbat to your cousin or uncle that came to the shul, he gets offended. So what happened? It creates fights. So the answer is, we are obligated to do everything we can not to cause fights, of course. For instance, we can let him open the ark, or we can let him take the Sefer Torah out. We can do certain things. But we're not allowed to violate the rules of the Torah. So I answer, when Hashem gave the Torah, He knew that some of His rules will create problems between parents and their children, right? Like kosher food. If the kid became religious and the parents do not keep kosher, he cannot eat in his own mother's kitchen. Of course it's going to create problems in a house. Or in his brother's house. Or if his brother marry a Goya, he's not allowed to go to the wedding. It's going to cause a big fight. One time I had a father who came from somewhere in America, Carolina, I don't remember where, all the way to Monsey to beg me all day. He did not leave me to convince his son to go to his brother's wedding with Christine. All day he was sitting there, begging me, offering me all kinds of things, hinting he's going to give a big donation, I'm going to do whatever you say, after that we'll make it up. I want my two sons standing under the chuppah. I told him, I'm very sorry, I'm not God and I don't have authority on his book. How can I allow your son to participate in such a crime? It's one of the biggest crimes in humanity for Jews to do.
What? I didn't get it.
The brother married Goya. So he wants the other religious brother that I made him religious, he wants me as his rabbi to convince him to go to that wedding. So Moshe is married Christine, and his brother Reuven cannot go to the wedding because it's against Hashem. But the father takes it to his heart. He's not religious. He has no idea what religion is. So he comes to beg me. He flew all the way to beg me to say to his son that he's allowed to go. All day, mamash. And it was a very big test for me because you don't feel comfortable. But I say, you cannot move from the rules of Hashem. What can you do? Sometimes a doctor does things that may offend some people. Sometimes a lawyer may do it. It's a part of his job. What can you do? A judge in a secular court, he has to do certain things that people don't like. What can you do? If you follow the rules, you have to stick to the rules. Yes?
But Rabbi, us Jews, we are very clever. And we always know how to bend the rules a little. You bend the rules as you let the guy say the bracha, say the aliyah. You bend the rules a little because you promised him that you didn't know if he's going to keep
No, he
Shabbat.
accepted Shabbat on
And he
him.
already didn't
No,
keep
no.
Shabbat
The
beforehand.
rules is.
So that's always a little bit
No,
of a...
no. Over here, there's no turning the rules at all.
No.
The rule is, if a person accepts on himself, he say, I'm accepting on myself to be Shomer Shabbat,
He didn't say
and he
Shabbat.
dies.
He said he's going to keep it for 3 Shabbats.
No, after
He didn't say
three,
he's
after three, it's called Chazakah.
That's after 3. It's your guess. It's not a promise.
No,
that
no.
he gave.
Chazakah, it
This
doesn't
is
mean.
a little bit of a, something. Like
You're
a
missing the point.
restaurant that's Shabbat. It keeps kosher. Shabbat, he sells it to a boy, and then on Sunday he buys it back, and we're allowed to eat it. That's also bending rules. We always bend rules.
No, that
A
makes sense.
person, to me, there is, and I'm not a rabbi, chas v'shalom, I don't know anything. But to me, there is a time for everyone, and we cannot give it up. We can't. I'm not saying that we should chilul Shabbat, Am Shomer Shabbat, Baruch Hashem, but there is a time for every Jew that they will come and will understand. We gotta give them something. We gotta give a person.
You're making a good point, but you're missing also a very important point.
I want to say something.
One thing at a time. So now you have to understand one thing. We have an obligation in the Torah to chase every secular Jew all our life until he become religious. To offer him money, to help him, to teach him Torah, to give him CDs. We have this obligation, each one of us. But we don't have permission to compromise on the law of the Torah in order for that person to like the Torah better. That's what the Reform Jews did, and the Conservative, and nothing left from them. They all marry Goyim, and all their children are Goyim, and they're gone. The Reform should have been millions. There's nothing, none of them left. Why? Because they wanted to compromise here, and cut here, and nothing left. If we start bending the rules, like you suggest...
No bending. I did not ask to bend, but I had a friend, I'm sorry I'm interrupting.
Yeah.
I had a friend about 10-15 years ago. I was just like, who is actually a Kohen? My husband is a Kohen, but absolutely nothing of religion, zero religion, nothing. They only knew that they're Jews, that's it. Kept nothing. Once I was just talking to her, and I say, I have this CD, it's about mikvah, but nothing very serious. It's a beautiful thing to watch. Gave it to her, got insulted,
didn't want to, just gave it back to me. I knew she didn't even watch it.
Why she got insulted? For what?
Didn't like it because she thought I was pushing religion on her. 15 years later, Rabbi, she called me a couple of months ago. I want to keep kosher. I want to come help me. I want to do my kitchen. Come do my kitchen. This and that.
Yeah.
And I don't think she did it because somebody pushed it on her or chased after. I think because Hashem is amazing and he works on
Your story is nice.
pushing, it goes the
No,
wrong way.
but
It
yes.
goes the wrong way.
First of all, wait. Let's put an order here.
Don't think like that.
First of all, not everyone knows how to make Jews religious. It's a very hard job. You have, first of all, one skill you need is to be a psychologist, to read people, to know their limits, to know what to say, what not to say to them. And it's very difficult because to read people, sometimes you make mistakes. Sometimes a person smiles to you like he's cooperating with you and is ready to take his knife and kill you. Sometimes it's the other way around. He looks at you with an angry face and in reality he's becoming religious as you speak. There's all kinds of an exception to the rule. Overall, I know, for instance, body language, how people react, how they see it, how they move, so it tells me exactly what they think. But there's always an exception to the rule. So we always take a risk to make mistake. If you don't try, you will never make mistake, but you're never gonna make any Baal Tshuva. But what I'm saying to you is, not every Jew can make other Jews religious. The job of ordinary Jews who do not know enough Torah and do not know how to handle apikorsim, people that are anti-Torah, they don't have permission to talk to them. Not only it's not obligated, don't have permission to talk to them because they would cause more damage than help. So their job is to do what we do here, to give their home, to give money, to sponsor CDs, to call people to come to lecture. Everyone does what is good as. You know computer, you make flyer, you send emails, you make phone calls on your phone. Everyone has something. Now, that's why today all religious people became machzirim b'tshuva. They come, they talk to the uncle, they talk to the grandma, they argue with this, they argue with that.
To speak. People who become Shabbat, they're very thirsty to talk. Talk.
All people are thirsty to talk.
No, but especially chozrim b'tshuva.
Yeah.
I want to ask you another question.
Yes.
Really, at the beginning. Can you call Jews criminal? Are you allowed? It's not Lashon Hara. It's okay?
No, the Torah called Jews criminals.
No.
The Torah called Esav criminal.
No. Only Jews.
What do you mean, no? I just told you the Torah called Esav criminal.
Jews say criminal because I heard.
Rega, wait. I just answer your question. Why are you ignoring my answer?
No, nothing wrong.
The Torah called Esav, the son of Yitzchak HaKadosh, Avinu, criminal. The Torah called Ishmael criminal, murderer, Pere Adam.
But it's not Lashon Hara.
No? Lashon Hara, you have to learn all the laws of Lashon Hara. So rule number 1 in Lashon Hara, there are people you're allowed to talk Lashon Hara about them. Do you know that? Any more questions? Shh. Yes. Shh. Please.
You mentioned about the job of the husband and what it says on the ketubah. Would you go briefly on the responsibility of the wife towards it?
Yeah.
Responsibility of the wives is to take care of the house, take care of the children, takes care of all the cleaning, takes care of all the shopping. If she has help, she has help. But that's her responsibility to make sure everything gets done, to raise the children to Torah and Mitzvot and good personality, good traits, and to be a cooperative and supportive wife to her husband, which means she has to be available to him. She always has to be pretty to her husband. It's an obligation for women, and women don't know it, but they have an obligation to be as pretty as possible for their husband, not for the amigos on the street. For their husbands, you understand? Today we live in an opposite world. When they go to the supermarket, half an hour they put makeup and fix their wig, that Tony and Vinny will enjoy their beauty. But when the husband come home, some schmate on the head, I had a rough day. It should have been the other way around. It should have been that when they go out to attract as less as possible attention, and when the husband comes, to put a show for the husband, the nicest clothes, the nicest possible way. Shh. women make a common mistake. They think, well, my husband knows me 20 years. He has already known me. Why do I have to impress him? This is one of the biggest mistakes in marriage. It doesn't matter if your husband knows you 200 years. And it doesn't matter anything you think. Every day you have to buy the heart of your husband from zero. Every day. This is the key to succeed in marriage. The Gemara says, the grandson of Choni HaMa'agel, whenever there was no rain, the rabbis used to come to beg him to talk to Hashem that he can get rain. He was a very holy tzaddik. So one time the rabbis came to him, and he was walking in a field. The tzaddikim of 2,000 years ago did not drive in a Rolls Royce. They were walking in a field, like gardener. So they talked to him, he didn't want to talk. He didn't want to talk. Why he didn't want to talk? Because he's working for someone. He doesn't want to steal from the talk. He's getting paid by the hour. So when he finished his day, the rabbis followed him to his house, and they see that his wife coming out of the house, dressed beautiful, put herself nicely to welcome her husband. And the rabbis were shocked. They didn't understand what's going on here. So when the wife turned around, she went upstairs, and the husband followed her, and the two rabbis behind him. So when they walked into the house, the Gemara brings the whole story for a reason. The Gemara, it's not Harry Potter, The Gemara brings the story. You can learn many laws from the story. So the Gemara says that the rabbi is asking, why you didn't answer hello when we came to the field? He said, because I'm working for my boss. I don't want to steal time. So fine. Why when we followed to your house, your wife came out so megunderet, so put together nicely? To the street like this? Why she get dressed like this? In the evening. So he told them, she does what she's supposed to do, that I would not look at other ladies. And this was not a rabbi, a big tzaddik like you know from today. Take the biggest rabbi you know in the world, that watch his eyes and he's kadosh and learns Torah and a lover of Hashem, whatever you want. It could not even get to 1% of the level of that rabbi that I'm talking about. He speaks to Hashem, 5 minutes later the rain begins. That's what the Gemara testified. You know somebody like this in the world? Show me one. That guy, you come, 1 year there's no rain in Israel, you come to him, Rabbi, do something. He speaks to Hashem, 10, 15 minutes, the rain begins. This was his level. So he said to them, my wife becoming pretty for me. Why? That I won't look at other women. From this Gemara, all of you can learn the psychology of the man. If the man is not happy from the way his wife looks, that can create problem. Not guarantee, but it's already a much higher risk. That's why I one time asked Rabbi Aderet in Monsey. No, I did. I said to the maximum she can. He took her with her limitation. Obviously, she was pretty enough for him. So she should try to be as pretty as the day that they started. She doesn't have to be more than what they started, because he already liked her as it is. Exactly. So now, one time I asked Rabbi Aderet, many years ago, someone like you, how do you allow wigs? When you know Rav Ovadia scream against it and other Rabbanim, how do you allow wigs? So he looked at me, he said, this was in Monsey, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. So he said to me, with what's going on today in the marriages, if they won't have wigs, not one of them will be left married. You don't know what's going to happen. At least let their wives put wigs, at least they have somebody to come to. Because this is the low level of the men today. Today, after 15 years, I see from my own experience how he was right. Everyone scream. Yes, there's a price to pay. But without it, it could have been worse. Wait, 1 second. wait. רגע, נכון, the פאות, those who allow פאות, do not allow fancy schmancy all the way down. It has to be short, put together, not, So there is limit in a peot also. Obviously, the idea of a woman to be modest on the street is not to attract attention from men. How do you not attract attention from a man? You know exactly what to do. Why? Because if you do everything to attract attention, now you have to do everything the opposite. That's all. Whatever you do, A, B, C, D, before you leave the house to attract attention, now you have to do the opposite. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. So now, going back to the story, so they told him, but Rabbi, don't you know that our tradition is that a man does not walk behind a woman when she walks up the stairs, even the husband. So he told them, shh, so what's better, that you walk behind my wife? That I will go first and you go, and she will be behind me and both of you will walk behind her? Yeah. So what do we learn from this story? That the two rabbis that came from the Beit Din, they were big. So he told them in their face, I don't trust you, you're going to look at my wife. That's why I made a separation between you and your wife, and my wife. That's his Gemara is a brilliant Gemara, he teaches so much. So what do I tell you? You want Shalom Bayit? The lady here asked, what's the job of a woman? In this generation, more than ever before, to be as pretty as possible, always for her husband, always. If he like her to dress this, so she dress this. Between her and him, when the children are not around, there's no law of modesty. Almost none of that exists. They're in a room, whatever, they're together. That's it. That's what the Torah allows. So they have to do it. Sometimes, really, women are tired, the kids, they drive them crazy, they're not in the mood for the husband, they had a rough day, you know, it happens. That's the challenge for ladies. That even though it was very difficult, the husband doesn't know what happened now, they come from work, whatever, they have to do everything they can to have a good meal, to set up, to be ready, you know, whatever the house needs. Also, you know, to run the house. When the husband knows that his wife is responsible, she pays the bill, she orders what the house needs. Not every hour he needs this, we don't have this, I forgot this. Why? You forgot because you don't care. If you care, you don't forget. Your stuff. I remember one time I went to someone for Shabbat. And the end of Shabbat, the bills coming. You know how it is. Motzei Shabbat, usually the worst bills are coming. So the bill arrived. Then all of a sudden I hear he's screaming to his wife. I'm just changing the name. Sarah!
In front of you?
In front of me, my wife, the kids, everyone. Sarah! Whole house. You didn't pay the mortgage! She forgot to pay the mortgage, so now it came with penalty and interest. Probably ruined his credit. It's a disaster to ruin the credit. So I heard her voice. I said to myself, poor girl, she will drop dead from heart attack soon, the way she sounded. Oh, she was like this, oh, I forgot. So guess what he answered?
It's okay, honey.
You should do it himself.
Guess what he answered? What should he answer? He should say, please try to be more careful. And they, of course, not in front of people. And that's it. What can he do? He screamed, to go to the mall, you never forget.
It has to be pretty.
To go to the mall, you never forget.
So we need to say to the husbands, give your wife lots of money, that they go to medical, pedicure.
Yeah, if that's what he wants.
No,
If he cares about those
what's
things.
important. What's really important to you and to him.
If he cares about those things, you're right. Yeah. Okay, so now the Gemara say, okay, listen. The Gemara say that the man and the woman, when they want to be together intimately, has to be at night. Why the Gemara care? Night, day. Well, who cares?
But
What?
they don't see the moon של האישה.
Oh, I told you we have a rabbit in it. Whenever I don't come, you replace me.
חס וחלילה.
Why is it? Because in the light of the day, remember there was no electric 2,000 years ago. There was no way to have light at night. Night, you don't see anything. You have a little candle, you see a shadow. You don't really see. So it says, Why not in a day? Because the sun comes in the house. There's no shades like he is beautiful, everything designed. You know, you have window. What kind of window? Lights come in. If they be together during the day, he may see something in his wife's face, body, whatever, that he may not like and get disgusted. And it would hurt the Shalom Bayit. We are talking in a generation of angels, angels. Every one of them is Rav Ovadia multiplied by 1,000. And he sees his wife has a pimple or something, whatever. He says, nah, I don't. This is what the Gemara, this is Divrei Elokim Chaim. What do you think, it's a joke? The Gemara says, לא ניתנו נשים, אלא ליופי. One of the main purposes of the women is, the Gemara, I'm reading to you from the Gemara, not from Israeli newspaper. The Gemara, one of the main things for women, Hashem puts you here to be pretty, but pretty to your husband, not to amigos. To your husband. No, Evel, הכוונה, the Yofi is beautiful and it's amazing and it's helping, but it should not be the main thing. When you go on a shidduch, you only go by beauty, you're a fool. Beauty, lazy, not modest, not yirat shamayim, no good midot, not bad family, everything bad, gorgeous face. No, what is it going to give you in life? It will destroy you. On the other hand, you have all the good things and you don't like the way she looks. It's also a problem. What's more important? Midot is coming before the beauty. There's a list. When a person comes to get married, some of you are singles here, so the answer, I believe, no? Everyone is married here, or? Yeah, there are some singles. Okay, so when a person comes to get married, first thing he has to check by the men. When a woman checks for a man, first thing is midot. Not too angry, not too proud, not too stingy, not arrogant. Nice, clean, talk nice to people, respect things, love Torah, midot. Second thing, how much Torah he knows. Third thing, attraction, beauty, things like this. She likes him as a man. Man doesn't have to be melech hayofi. As long as he looks okay, it's fine. Because man wasn't given for beauty. Women was given for beauty. Hashem made Chava for Adam. You know, the Gemara says, Hashem put Adam to sleep.
Shh. That's not true.
Shh, wait.
Man is too attractive, he's not yours.
So the Gemara says Hashem put Hashem put Adam to sleep and he took a rib from his body and he made him Chava. And Chava was a perfect creation. Hashem designed it, not Picasso. Hashem. That's a great designer. So one Roman came to Rabban Gamliel and said, your God is a thief. So he said, why? He said, he put Adam to sleep, anesthesia, and he stole an organ from his body without asking him permission first. It's a thief. But he should have told him, listen, I want to take a bone from your body. So the daughter of the rabbi said, Abba, let me answer him. So she said to him, listen, one day a thief broke into our house. He came to our living room, he opened the drawer, he stole the silver Kiddush cup and he put a gold Kiddush cup instead. So the guy, he said to her, I wish a thief like this would visit me every day. So she said to him, your ear should listen to your mouth. Hashem took a piece of lousy bone from his body. With or without his bone. Now, anything changed? Nothing. They gave him such a gorgeous, beautiful, amazing woman to entertain him for 930 years. So there you go, he got the point. It's only considered stealing when you take something valuable and you don't give. But if you take 100 and you put 1,000 instead, that's considered stealing? Now she asked, what happened if Isha is mirshat? Even that it's good for the man. Why? The Gemara say 3 things save a man from hell. One is stomach problems. All the time, pain, stomach, this. Second, poverty. Cannot afford anything. Needs to buy tefillin for his kids, bar mitzvah, has to go to the rabbi to beg for donation. He wants to buy matzot for Pesach, Tomchei Shabbos. This is a horrible life. All his life begging, knocking on door, help us, invite us for Yom Tov. This is horrible. So that's come instead of hell. And the main thing, it's Isha Resha'it. Isha Ra'a, bad wife. The question is, what does it mean, bad wife? Arrogant, nasty, chatzufa, lazy, not cleaning, not cooking, don't care about anything, disrespect him. Add everything you can think, that's Isha Ra'a. No one is perfect. So there was one case, one guy came to the Shadchanit and he said, I want you to find me the worst girl you ever met. The worst. Wicked, evil, everything. So she said to him, are you normal? Who wants to marry such a girl? So he said to her, don't ask me questions. You want to get your money for the shidduch? Who is the worst girl you ever saw? She said, there's a one girl. The worst. Everything is bad about her. And he said, that's the girl I want. Here is your $10,000, $5,000, whatever. Okay. After a month he comes back, he said, listen, you have to give me a refund. She said, why? He said, why? I told you to give me an evil girl. You gave me the nicest angel. So she said, you sure we're talking about the same girl? He said, yes. She said, call her. So the girl comes in between them now, the Shadchanit. She said, what's the catch here? You and I know that you're not an angel. She said, he wants to go to heaven because of me, I'll teach him. She willing to become an angel because she's so evil, she wants him to go to Gehenna. You got it? In reality it helps. More questions, no? More questions. Baruch Hashem, we answer all your questions, that's it. That's it, no more questions? No more? Yeah, here.
מה ההבדל שאומרים השכינה והקדוש ברוך הוא, כאילו צער השכינה,
אותו דבר. זה אותו דבר.
אתה קורא הקדוש ברוך הוא והשכינה.
זה כמו הילה. They ask, what does it mean שכינה? When they say הקדוש ברוך הוא, and sometimes they say the שכינה. שכינה is like the הילה of הקדוש ברוך הוא, כמו רוח השם. That's what it means שכינה.
רגע, אז היא סובלת?
לא, שאומרים השכינה, הכוונה הקדוש ברוך הוא, אבל זה רק משלים, it's only parable. Hashem is not suffering, Hashem is not sad, Hashem is not angry, Hashem is not happy. All these expressions is כמו שנקרא לסבר את האוזן. הרמב"ם say, הקדוש ברוך הוא speaks to us in a language that we will be able to communicate and understand. That's why he tells us the chair of Hashem. Wow, Hashem has a chair, chas v'shalom. What kind of God is that he needs a chair? Doesn't have a real chair. It's akol mishalim. Hashem has a finger. Hashem has a hand. Hiteti et yadi al Mitzrayim. It doesn't really have a hand. Or charon api. He really have nose. He needs to breathe. Otherwise he will choke.
Metaphor.
It's metaphor. It's metaphoric. If someone thinks that Hashem has these things for real, is called אפיקורס, כופר, ואין לו חלק לעולם הבא. It's one of the 13 principles of Judaism. 13 principles of Judaism. Did you hear about this concept or no? No? I'll read them to you. The 13 principles of Judaism, 13 העיקרים של הזה, one is to believe that there is only one God. Okay? There's Hashem שמצוי ומשגיח. He's around, but he's not only a God that created the world and is gone. He's active in watching the world and supervising everything. מצוי ומשגיח. Principle number 2, that is only one. No son of God, he doesn't have an uncle, doesn't have a cousin, none of these things. A few more minutes and we'll finish. No. He has only one. Third principle is what I just told you. אין לו גוף ואין לו דמות הגוף. Doesn't have a body, physical body, and it doesn't have an image. תודה, כל טוב. It doesn't have an image, which means if a person pray to Hashem, man or woman, and they imagine yellow, white, cloud, fire, all kinds of things, it's not allowed. It's against the law. When you pray to Hashem, you're not allowed to imagine any image, nothing. What do you have to think? I'm praying to the Creator of the world, to our Father in heaven. Who is He? We don't know. We don't have the ability to understand what He is. So we know it's a holy energy. It's Kol Yachol, it's perfect, but it doesn't matter. We only have to do what we have to do. We don't need to understand who exactly is Hashem. We don't have this ability. The Torah says, Ki lo irani ha'adam v'chai. Nobody can see me and stay alive. But in a spiritual world, everybody sees Hashem. שנאמר לפניו יכרעו כל יורדי עפר. Everyone who goes to the grave before he see the light of Hashem. So now, the fourth one, שהוא קדמון לכל הקדומים. There was never any other God before him. Why it's important? Let's say there was another God, and whatever happened to him happened, and now there is a God who created our world and gave us the Torah. Why it's important to believe that there was no other God before? Do you know why? Because if there was God before, the second one is not perfect. You understand why or no? Because if there was one before, that means the second is limited, it's controlled by the first one. If there's two gods, each one of them is limited, because they're all Kol Yachol, so they can hurt each other. So that makes the other one not perfect. That's why you can never be two gods. Only one who made everything. So the next principle is that he knows the mind of a person. He knows everything we think, everything will go through our mind, everything 100%. And the seventh principle, the prophecy of Moshe Rabbeinu alav Shalom, it's 100% true. There's not one word in the prophecies of Moshe Rabbeinu that he made up from his own opinion or from someone's advice. 100% transmission from Hashem. And the eighth principle, that Moshe is the master of all the prophets. What does it mean? That from all the prophets that we had, 48 prophets and 7 female, all together, Moshe was the greatest prophet. Why? All the prophets, in order for them to speak to Hashem, they had to fall asleep and had a dream. And Moshe was the only one who can communicate with Hashem while he's awake. He can stand on his feet. That's what it means, lo kam od navi ke Moshe. What does it mean, lo kam? Nobody was able to lakum on his feet, to stand while he's talking to Hashem. Only Moshe. Everybody else had to lay down. So that's why he's the biggest prophet. Then the ninth principle, that the Torah was given to us in a public event from Min HaShamayim. Not like a baloney story, Muhammad came from the desert and claimed he got the book. Or Mary had a dream. You know? None of this nonsense. We got the Torah from heaven directly in a public event that millions witnessed it. No other religion started with millions of people. That's why Judaism is real and everything else is nonsense. Just from that alone, you don't even need to investigate. One religion started in front of millions of people that heard the voice of God. 80,000 fake religion with the story of one lunatic that showed up and claimed that he has a prophecy. Nobody ever saw it. And you review their books, you see many mistakes. Then the 10th principle, that the Torah will never ever change even by one letter. Nothing, not one letter from the Torah will ever change. The 11th principle, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is punishing the wicked people who do not listen to his mitzvot, and reward the righteous Jews who listens to the mitzvot. I shouldn't say Jews, it's also Goyim. But the Goyim is also righteous and wicked. The 12th principle, what we always have to wait for the Mashiach to arrive, because Mashiach will arrive, even though he's delayed a lot. For sure he will arrive. This is one of the principles in Judaism. And the last one, that the dead, righteous dead people will resurrect to life after Mashiach come. All the righteous names, David HaMelech, Shaul HaMelech, Moshe Rabbeinu, Aaron, all these tzaddikim that we read about in the Tanakh, and all our rabbis and grandparents and all the tzaddikim that passed away will come back to life in a body and will go back to the level of Adam before the sin. Adam before the sin was in a higher level of the Jews who are in heaven right now. That's why Hashem will take the righteous people from heaven and put them back in this world with no Yetzer Hara in their body, so there will be a higher level than heaven. But after that, One day this world will be finished after 7,000, another 1,000 years after. And by the year 7,000, Hashem will destroy this world and will take the souls again out of the bodies to what we call Olam HaNetzach, life of eternity. It won't be here in a physical place. It will be the highest level of pleasure for trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions until next year of years. It's not even the beginning. And what's gonna make us get it? Keeping Shabbat, dress modest on the street. Women, for instance, who walk with tight pants or short skirt or half sleeves and open here and attached to the body, they not only sinning, they're also committing others to commit sins. Why? A woman can make a sin between her and Hashem. She eats something not kosher. She went to a bagel shop, she bought something not kosher. One sin for her, between her and Hashem. Doesn't affect me, doesn't affect her. Affect her, only her. But if she walks in the street with provocative way, and every man obviously looks at her in the street the way she is, 1, 2, 5, 20, 50, 100, 500, 1,000, especially when they go to beaches and pools and pictures and on the internet, Hashem Yirachem, can be millions, Facebook, it can be millions of eyes on her every day. She is making all men thinking things that is not allowed to think according to the Torah. And therefore, she is responsible for the punishments of all of them that goes to her account. So 1 hour she walks in the street not modest, she can already make more sins than in an entire life. That's why it's so important to be modest. Yes?
But women can be modest.
And the men still look at them.
No, they look pretty still. They look chic, they look representative.
There's no contradiction between modest and pretty. Sarah Imenu, Avraham did not know how beautiful she is because she was so modest, but she was beautiful, perfect beauty. There's no contradiction. Woman can be very pretty and modest. But that doesn't mean that she has to show her beauty to every man on the street.
No, right.
But women also don't have to cover their face.
No, what she means that even she modest,
They
she
look
still can be pretty. And men
That's
look
right.
at her because she's so
That's not her problem.
That's what she means.
If she follow the rules of religion, white skirt, not attached clothes, not open, everything below the elbow when she sits, the skirts go below the knees, nothing is open below the beginning of the neck. That's the line that from there on, from anywhere around, no one is allowed to see her shoulders, no V, nothing is allowed. If a woman goes with V, she violates the rule of modesty. She looks to everyone very modest because there's a little V. The V is against the halakha. From the little tiny hole, where what we call grogeret, from then below, the halakha is the woman is not allowed to show an inch from her body. She can show the hands up to the elbow, which means when she folds her hands, the shirt should still cover the elbow. No one is allowed to see her elbow. And like I said, in the knees when she sits, sometimes the skirt is 1 inch below the knees when she stands. But as soon as she sits, it goes all the way above. And everything is open.
ומה עם אצבעות הרגליים? אצבעות הרגליים.
אצבעות הרגליים depend on the countries. In the times when a Ben Ish Chai, many women walk barefoot. Nobody cared about the feet of a woman. But in some places, since it's not the acceptable way to walk, it attracts attention. If a woman would walk in the street now, even with a skirt, barefoot, and her twin sister would go with shoes, all the eyes of the men would look at who? The one with barefoot or the one with the shoes? The one with, so that's not allowed. But if it's in Iraq, and everyone goes barefoot, it's like shoes, nobody cares. Understand?
But a bit it has to make sense to me. If someone, like 50% of women outside or even more in the summertime, everybody's in tube top, tank top, sleeveless. If your sleeve is up to here or up to here, what are you going to look at? This is what I want to understand.
First of all, I have news for you. Anything above the elbow attracts a lot more attention than men's eyes.
And a tank top?
I don't know what tank top is.
I mean, gufia.
Gufia is also not allowed.
I know, but
Not
I'm
allowed to
saying,
walk with attached gufia.
What is the difference between here to here?
no, I'm saying if you walk in the street summertime,
I tell you, I
between 100 women,
yeah.
80 of them are totally nude arms.
Yes.
If you have your sleeve up to here or up to here,
Yeah.
still men
Okay,
would look
you're
at
right.
that.
You're right what you say, that if there will be nude women and a religious woman who her sleeve is a little bit above the elbow, that no one would look at
Yeah,
her.
if the concern is
You're
somebody
right.
look at
But what
you,
happens if she's alone in an office with these men? She's the only woman over there. You're right. When there's a lot of naked
so there
women,
is so
nobody
much
would see.
attraction to an elbow?
No, it will attract his eyes. Yeah, he will begin to look at her after that. That's the way the people are. Halacha. This is the law. It's not chumrah. No one is allowed to show. The woman cannot show their hands from above the elbow. But you know, I'll tell you a story. One guy, he has a friend, secular apicors, that always make fun at religion. Ah, you're so fanatic, inch here and inch there, you're not allowed. Yeah. So the one time he said to his religious friends, I need you to send me this business proposal by email. Send it. So okay, I'm sending it. So after 5 minutes, no, why are you not sending it? He said, I send it to you. You email it? Yes. So he said, I didn't get it, send it again. 5 minutes later, he calls again. No, you're driving me crazy. Where is it? So I send it again. Send it again, 3 times. He doesn't get there. He calls, he's screaming, you're playing games. So he said to him, listen, this is your email. What? Moshe Moskowitz .77.aol.com. So he said to him, no, you made one mistake. What? You put Moshe Moskowitz without the dot. You have to put the dot. So the religious guy told him, come on, don't be a fool. Who cares about the dot? Everybody understand, ma. Cares about the little dot, so many letters. What is the dot? Make a difference. So he told him, you're a fool. Without this dot, the email doesn't come in. It's computer. Not one tiny mistake, the computer doesn't read it. That's exactly how it is by Hashem. You do it right. You do it 99%, it wasn't right. It wasn't done. I give you another example. Tefillin. 4 chapters in the head, 4 in the arm. Each chapter have hundreds of letters. So 8 times hundreds, it gives us maybe more than 1,000 letters at least. 4 chapters of the Tefillin, Shema, Vayim Shamoa, all these parshiot, about 1,000 letters. It takes hours to write with the feather, with the ink, like this. What happened if from 1,000 letters, you skipped 1 yud? 1 yud. It didn't change the meaning of the word, right? People who read it still understand what you want. Sometimes it's 2 yudim, so you wrote with 1 yud. No big deal, but people got the point. The tefillin is completely not kosher. Person put tefillin 10 years with 1 yud is missing. It's count that he never put tefillin in his life.
Oh my God.
So why? Why? He will get the reward for the efforts. For coming, putting it, saying, yeah, for that he'll get the reward. For paying the money, he won't get a punishment for not putting tefillin because he came to put tefillin. But in reality, the oti beni uvenechem, v'haya le'ot al yadecha, he never had. Why? Because by Hashem, it was done right or it was done wrong. That's it. There's no be'erech. I give you another example. A Jew has to eat kazait matzah in Leil HaSeder. Kazait means 1 ounce, minimum. If you eat less than 28 grams of matzah in Leil HaSeder, it's like you did not do anything. You cannot say Asher Kiddush Rules v'tzivanu al achilat matzah and take only 1 bite. You have to eat at least 28 grams and more. We eat a lot more, but just to be on the safe side. Okay, now in the Holocaust there was a case like this. The Jews somehow was able to get half a matzah, which is exactly 1 ounce, but there's 2 Jews. Now, if each will take half of the half, so they will get 14 grams each. None of them will get to kazait. So they asked the rabbi in a ghetto, what's better? That we'll throw a coin, and whoever wins will eat the entire matzah with bracha, and the other one will not do it all, or we split it anyway, and we'll eat half, and Hashem will see that we didn't have more. Obviously, we wanted to eat more. What's better? What do you think?
One of them.
So the answer is, they have to throw a coin, whoever wins eat the whole matzah, and the other one is considered anus. Anus Rahmana Patre. If you're forced, Hashem let it go. He will not punish you for that. Why? It counts like you did. Why? You came to do, you couldn't do. Okay, I shall give you the reward for the efforts. But if they would both eat half and half, none of them did the mitzvah. Here at least one did the mitzvah, the other one is dismissed. But if they do half and half, both of them did not do the mitzvah. Why? It's not perfect. It has to be perfect. Perfect means 1 ounce and more. Less than that, it's not perfect. And there are thousands of examples like this. Sefer Torah, 304,805 letters. One letter you missed, the Sefer Torah, it's not kosher. One letter you missed. 305,000 letters almost. What's the big deal? You forgot one yud. Sefer Torah, it's not kosher. You cannot read in it. You cannot make brachot. Same thing, modesty. Modesty, there are rules. Those are the rules. And by the way, you should know one more thing about people. If people steal 1 inch here, 1 inch here, come 5 years later, they see, like you say, they walk nude on the street. What caused that? What do you think? From religious, ultra-Orthodox woman, she became nude overnight? No. Once she broke the fence, it's a little more, a little more, a little more, until she let everything go. But once she knows there is a line, there's a life and death. This is heaven, this is hell. This is the line. And it's in her mind, in her subconscious, this line cannot be crossed. She will die righteous. She will die modest. Once she breaks the line, Poretz Gader Yishachenu Nachash. All the problems begin. This is what happened to the reforms. You look at the reforms today, look at them today, how horrible they behave. They marry men with men. They marry Jews with Goyim. They eat pork on Yom Kippur. They all mechalelei Shabbat. And I don't want to even tell you what other things they do. Do you know how they became like that? They used to be Orthodox 200 years ago. They just changed one tiny rule about tzitzit. That's not relevant. Once they broke one rule, 200 years later, they became more Goyim than Christians, more Goyim than Muslims. The Muslims keep more mitzvot of the Torah than these reforms. And you have few of them here in Great Neck. You understand? You're not allowed to step in a Reform synagogue. Not allowed to walk in. You're not allowed to walk in a church, and you're not allowed to walk in Reform or Conservative synagogue. But you're allowed to walk into a mosque. Mosque is better than Reform synagogue. Mosque of 500 Arab murderers, you're allowed to walk in. Let's say you're an electrician. Let's say you're an electrician, you have to fix the light bulbs, and Muhammad invited you. And you walk inside and you see 500 Hamas murderers are there praying. You're allowed to walk in? Yes. But the Reform Rabbi with his ponytail and earring and his boyfriend, they also invited you to fix the light. You're not allowed to step inside.
That's why they don't allow Muzmenet lebar mitzvah, and some of the rabbis say it doesn't matter, is your aunt, is your uncle, is your cousin, is your brother getting married, I'm your rabbi, you're not allowed to step in this place.
You're not allowed to step. It's not in the hand of the rabbis. Let me explain one thing. Sometimes the Reform synagogues have a catering hall on the side. It's not inside where they pray.
They pray, no.
If it's inside the place where the Reform or Conservative are praying, the Jew not allowed to step inside. But if they do on a separate, like sometimes they have the whole 5 acres, and they have a catering hall. It's over there. It's like renting a hall from a goy. Same thing. Not allowed. If I give you a list of what rabbis do in the last 20 years in the world, you're not going to want to be Jewish. So,
then this is the war between rabbis.
And you know what the problem? You know what the problem is? I want to tell you something. When there is 1 or 2 or 5 kosher rabbis in an area, in the end, they are the ones who suffer for the sins of the fake ones. Why? Because the people favor the fakes, because they want to be like them. They want to go to the beach naked. They want to go to Reform. They want to eat whatever they want. They want to go to mixed parties. So which rabbi they prefer? They both have beard. They prefer the one who allows everything. The one who is too strict with the sour face, they don't like. Ugh, nudnik. Not allowed this, not allowed to eat, not allowed to look, not allowed to talk. They don't want them. But when Mashiach comes, everyone will know who will survive and who, with his beautiful title Rabbi, will go express to hell. First one, before the Chilonim. Why? Because there's one thing of saying, leave me alone, I'm secular, I don't want to be religious, leave me alone. What can you do? There's nothing you can do. But teaching people that it's okay to be cellular is much worse than being a cellular. That's already a real criminal. And today, there are people like this. There are. You know, you talk about things that every fool knows. It's yeshiva, it's in the Gemara. All of a sudden, some liberal rabbi, oh, this is not true, this is allowed. Why? He wants publicity. He wants people to clap for it.
כשזוג מתחתן פה, אז למה כל הרבנים של גרדנק באים לחתונה? איך אפשר לדעת באמת מי זה הרב הכי נכון לקדש את החתן ואת הכלה?
No, the ones who come to do Chatan V'Kala Kiddushin, it's not his choice. What can he do? He sits in a chuppah, everyone is naked, no one is religious. He has to do the Kiddushin and run. He comes be'al korcho. He doesn't come. Some of them it's the parnasa, they get paid, they come.
Some of them don't come even.
Yes, some don't come. For instance, I know some rabbis, if you make the wedding in a non-kosher place, they won't come for $1 million cash. They won't step inside. Some would come, do the chuppah and run away. Right away. Yeah. They come, they run away. Why? They know soon the dancing will begin. So there are levels of how strict you are. Not everyone that is not strict is wicked, don't get me wrong. Because sometimes there are places that you can be lenient. But I'm talking about the ones that everything by them is allowed. It's called Rav Manoach. In Hebrew there's a joke. Rav Manoach. You know what Rav Manoach means? Ma Noach. Whatever it's comfortable, you can do. Rav, ma Noach lecha. What's comfortable? As long as the check would be with 5-6 digits, he's happy. You're allowed. Everything is allowed. Tov, I think it's good, huh? No? Yep. We got a whole seminar, 1 o'clock.
One question, Rabbi. Is Rasha. מה זה רשע? Can you give us like a...
There's an expression in Torah, it's called Rasha, what we translate in English, wicked. But there's something similar that we call in Hebrew Ra, what we call in English evil. Can you tell me what's the difference between wicked and evil in English?
Evil. No, wicked and evil. Wicked and evil is
some people, they, by knowing, killing people and doing wrong things. Some people, they don't know. And just...
No, I'm not saying intentional or not intentional.
אני קראתי שרשע יש בו קצת מהשין, שיש בו מהניצוץ של הקדוש ברוך הוא, ורע אין בו כלום.
זה נקרא הגיגים, הפרפראות. עזבי אותנו מזה. Let me give you the answers straightforward. The word rasha doesn't mean ra. Ra means evil person. Bad heart, fighting, arrogance, violence. You know, all kinds of things, all day Lashon Hara, evil. Once everyone around him to suffer. That's called Ra. Nazi is Ra. Hamas terrorist is Ra. What does it mean, Rasha? Rasha doesn't mean evil. Rasha is the sweetest Jew you ever met in your life. The sweetest. Could be the Prime Minister of Israel, can be the Chief of the Army, can be the Chief Judge in the Supreme Court. All he does is shave with razor. He has a razor, he puts some foam, and he shaves his face like this. He got one warning, at least in his life, that is not allowed, and he continued to do it. He's already falling in a category of Rasha. Translation, Rasha means a person that violates one of the rules of the Torah intentionally, systematically. And not once he did it because the Yetzer Hara tricked him, that's fine, we all make sins. None of us is an angel. If you punish a person just from doing a sin here and there, there's not one person that is not Rasha. We're talking systematically. You tell him you're not allowed to drive in a car on Shabbat, doesn't care, continue to drive, that's Rasha. You tell him you're not allowed to eat in this place, it's not kosher, he continued to go to this restaurant, that's Rasha. You tell him you're not allowed to do this, and he continued to do it, That's called Rasha. Even if he has a nice heart, even if he gives a lot of tzedakah, even if he keeps Shabbat, he can still be Rasha. Can be Shomer Shabbat, have a beautiful long beard, nice sombrero, everything look great, but he's Rasha. Why? There's one thing that he does constantly against the Torah purposely.
And he became rich and more rich than other people.
That's a very bad sign. If a Jew become rich, it's a very bad sign. Most of the time it's bad for him. I'll tell you why. The Torah said in Parashat Vayetchanan, Ani Elkanah, I am a strict God, Meshalem larasha el panav la'avido. When I see a Jew that is 90% sins, 10% mitzvot, what am I going to do? I have to pay him for the 10% mitzvot. I have to pay him. Where will I pay him? I don't want him in heaven forever. So I have to pay him in this world. So I have to give him many millions of dollars. Another 10 million, another 5 million, another 2 million. I'm paying him in this world. Why I pay him so much? Because I don't want anything to do with him once he died. I don't want him with me. So I'm paying him la'avido. Meshalem la'rasha. Pay the reward to the rasha in order for him to get rid of him. Lo a'acher leshalem lo. I will not delay the payment of the wicked person. I will pay him right away, that I don't have anything to do with him later. So what do we learn from this in the Torah? In the Torah, it's a verse in the last 3 verses in Parashat Vayetchanan. No rabbis, no Gemara, no Zohar, in the text of the Torah. I am the zealous God who pay Meshalem larasha, pay the wicked cash to their face to get rid of them. I will not postpone their payment. I will pay them right away to destroy them. This is a verse in the Torah. What does it say about the tzaddik? It says, Meshalem le'ohavai, I pay my lovers, le'shomrei mitzvotai, that keep my mitzvot, le'elef dor, for thousands of generations, to the righteous. So what do we learn from the Torah? Very simple. You don't need to be a genius. It's simple Hebrew. The ones that Hashem love, He put almost all the reward for the afterlife. Why? Because it's much bigger, gigantic, and eternal. And He gives them what they need in this world. The one that He hates, He gives them for whatever mitzvot they did. They give some donation, they keep some mitzvot. Even the biggest wicked persons, does some mitzvot. No, he has mezuzah. One time he participated in Brit Milah. He did Brit Milah for his children. He did some mitzvot. So Hashem give him $50, $100 million. He gives him everything. He has a dream. He wants to own a baseball team. So he allow him. He wants to buy this building. He win. All kinds of things. Give him a pretty wife. His son became a lawyer. All his dreams come through. And Hashem says, I'm done with you. I paid you for all the good you did. Now you have nothing. You come naked. So therefore, if you see somebody wicked, only growing and making and everything works for him, he's the only most miserable person. However, sometimes righteous people, Hashem also give them a lot of money. Why? Because He wants them to have an opportunity to triple the reward. You should know one thing that most rabbis don't say. Most rabbis don't want to put the highlight on money too much. Why? Because they don't want the wicked people to take advantage on what I'm about to say. But Hashem said it. So if Hashem said it, it means He's not worried about it. What does Hashem say? Hashem say, Gadol ha'me'aseh yoter min ha'oseh. When a Jew makes other Jews make mitzvot, his reward is greater than them. So that means if I convince one of you now to do mitzvah that you never did, tomorrow you do it, Hashem will give you full reward for your mitzvah, and I will get a little more than you. Doing nothing. Just convincing you, giving you CD, whatever. Now if I came and I gave you a few hundred CDs here today, somebody paid for it. I cannot pay for 20,000 CDs every month for my pocket, no? So if it costs $1 and somebody gave $400 or $500 and sponsored the CD, and the CD is traveling from Jew to Jew, from car to car all over the world, and Jews becoming religious, all the mitzvot they will keep from then on, thanks to his CDs, goes all to his account. So from here we learn something very interesting. We must keep mitzvot, we don't have a choice. But all the mitzvot we're going to keep, for the 70, 80 years we're going to live, it's not even 1% of how much our money can make to us. So in other words, if you see a modern Orthodox person that keep very, very, it's not strict. Shabbat, barely. Kosher, barely. Torah, barely. But he gives tons of tzedakah, he can make more mitzvot than the biggest holy rabbi that you know in the world. He comes in Shamayim, he's in a higher level. Why? He gave millions of dollars and his money made thousands of Jews religious. Since they made billions of mitzvot for him, he is better than the chief rabbi of Israel. Because of his money. That's why rich people that don't give tzedakah, they'll kill themselves when they die. How stupid they were burning their money on nonsense when they could have bought billions of mitzvot easy with their money. And by the way, it doesn't cost millions to buy mitzvot. A person can make from thousands of dollars that he gives, he can make millions of mitzvot every month to his account. Remember this. If a person sponsors 1,000 CDs and he goes to 1,000 Jews and each one of them would hear 30 hours of lecture, $1,000. Most people here make it in a day or in an hour. You know, in this town, I know people who make millions of dollars every month. Knowing them personally, I know how much they make. They ask, sometimes they call, I made that deal, I made $12 million. How much you worked on a deal? 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, he made $12 million. So how much from that he will give tzedakah? $1,800. Wow. That's what happened. Why not 5-6 million? 1,800 he will give. Why? Because he's not clever. If he makes so much money, he should have given more than half of his money to make more and more and more. One day he died, he has more mitzvot than Moshe Rabbeinu. Why? Even Moshe could not make thousands of people religious like this in his time. Everyone was religious. He only taught them Torah. But you take a person that is a goy and you made him shomer Shabbat, and one he puts his children in yeshivot, and then he has grandchildren and grandchildren and grandchildren and you have trillions of mitzvot. For what? Doing nothing, just right. And what happened in the end? The people died, and who takes their money? America, Obama. Uncle Sam will take the money. So you rather leave the money to Obama than making your brothers religious? This is it. So this is an example how a person can have the opportunity, but he missed the opportunity either from stupidity, or from Yetzer Hara, or from just not thinking. Thank you very much for staying so long. It turned into a marathon. We'll see you again, I have a feeling.